Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's Pick a Card Stone deck reading, we are going to be looking at what do you need to know right now. So that can be literally anything, and it's going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to do a classic Xoxo spread, what I used to do, so I'm kind of excited about that, and then we're just going to get some guided channeled messages that will also serve as guidance from whatever your belief system is, the universe, guides, just an unconditionally loving source that wants to support you. And then we will finish off with a longer guided message from one of my favorite Alana Fairchild decks. I don't think I can pick a favorite, they're all excellent. But that's what we're going to be doing today, pretty straightforward. So we have 4 different tarot decks to choose from. I already have the Oracle cards I'm going to be using for each group underneath, and we have 4 stones on top. So starting with group number 1, we are going to be using the Starpower Tarot, and I have this, I believe it's Strawberry Quartz Moon on top. And then for group number 2, we are going to be using the Paws Tarot, P-A-W-S, not P-A-U-S-E, and this Bumblebee Jasper Sun on top. Then for group number 3, I am going to be using the Lightseers Tarot, and we have this aura-coded fluorite diamond thingy on top. If you've ever seen Evangelion, you'll know why I call this crystal Ramiel. And then finally for group number 4, we are going to be using the pink tiger tarot, and I have this Labradorite tiger carving on top. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It is absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one. This is a pretty straightforward reading. If what I am talking about, you're like, I don't need to know this isn't relevant for me, it is not your reading. But if I'm talking and you're like, I need to know this, then it is your reading. All of the readings will be linked down below, but we are going to go ahead and do our mini message and make a wish. I definitely felt like the vibes today we needed were the sun vibes, so this is the sun candle, and as you may or may not know, every single candle that I have with Angelic Magic 888's line comes with a mini tarot card inside, so we are going to make a wish together, and whatever mini tarot card inside will be the reading. I also want to announce that we have mini tarot candles out now. So if you are wanting to check out these candles, but maybe they're a bit expensive, or you would like to get more than one, definitely check out the mini candles, because not only will they be cheaper, but you have a better opportunity to see if that candle is your scent, and you still get the mini tarot cards. So I think that's a pretty good deal, but we're gonna go ahead and open this now. Ooh, and we have Temperance. So I will interpret this in a second, but if you want to go ahead and just kind of focus your intentions and focus your wish, feel free to do so. May yours, mine, and all of our wishes come true. Thank you for making a wish with me. Shout out to my intro squad. If you're part of my intro squad, please comment your favorite planet in the solar system, or favorite planet in general. I guess it doesn't have to be the solar system, or favorite star. My favorite planet is Pluto, even though they decided that Pluto isn't a planet. They could never make me exclude her. I love Pluto. I've always loved Pluto. I remember feeling very betrayed and very upset when they decided to kick her out of the Planet Club. And I understand the logic, but I still don't agree with it. I think that we do a lot of illogical things in this world, and I think that Pluto should still be a planet because she's the best. Anyway, would love to hear that. But let's talk temperance. So I definitely think, I just heard the words easy does it. This is definitely a sign for everyone here to be patient and do your best to find balance. Temperance is all about finding balance, and balance isn't necessarily 50-50, as I like to say. It can be, sometimes the best balance is 70-90. 70-30 or 80-20, whatever works best for you. But I definitely think whatever you are working on or focusing on or curious about is requiring patience. I definitely think a very effective thing to maybe focus on at this time are philosophical or spiritual or just consciousness expanding texts or literary sources that bring you inspiration. I guess they don't have to be literary sources. They could be videos or things like that. I prefer reading. I guess one example, right now I'm reading Meditations by Marcus. I'm probably gonna butcher his name, but Aurelius, you know, that Roman guy. And certainly not everything I agree with, but it's really interesting to read and cool to like just be in someone's consciousness at that place in time and, you know, kind of see how they looked at the world and how they handled their challenges. And I feel like that can be a really helpful thing for, you know, when you're going through your own challenges, to just kind of read someone else's words and read things that have, you know, a deeper meaning and that really make you reflect on your own life, your own choices, and what your values are, what matters to you. I feel like that could be something that helps guide you during this time and help kind of give you the opportunity to reflect on what is useful for you at this time and what maybe you need to discard. One thing that I really like about the Temperance card and that I kind of realized is that Temperance is definitely it comes after the Death card, and Temperance is the rebalancing that comes after death. You know, it's that it's that finding balance after a major shift. I kind of realized this once when my first niece was born. She was the first great grandchild in the family, and what I realized in her birth, there was a death in the dynamics in my family. Everything shifted, and you know, people took up different responsibilities. You know, it was different for obviously my brother's family, and you know, like a death for my brother and my sister-in-law in terms of like their parenthood or their non-parenthood to parenthood, right? And I kind of realized, okay, like this death energy, you know, because death is a lot about rebirths as well, right? But it is a permanent shift. And I kind of realized I saw this Temperance energy at work in my family with just how we were kind of taking up different roles and rebalancing things now that there was a new human in the family. And it was just really cool to kind of see like Temperance at work in a way where I didn't really realize it. So the point of what I was trying to say is that Temperance is the rebalancing that comes after a major shift. And so if you are in that process of rebalancing, it is absolutely okay to be patient with that process and do some trial and error. It's okay if things don't work. I definitely think you're being called to be patient with whatever process you are going through right now. And I think that this is just an opportunity for you to just kind of figure out what is working and what isn't, and don't pressure yourself too much. Definitely if you're wanting something to happen really quickly or you're trying to get things moving really fast, I'm just repeating myself, but don't expect that. I feel like that could actually be, you could be like shooting yourself in the foot there a little bit. Like I definitely think patience, balance, easy does it is the best approach to whatever you are focused on right now. And I definitely feel like one of the best ways to kind of tolerate this, especially if you are kind of frustrated with the fact that you do need to focus on balance and that things might be happening slower than you like, is to focus on things that expand your mind and just make you excited in an otherworldly way, in a self-discovery kind of way, in a way that makes you kind of look at your current reality differently. So that's the vibe that I'm getting for Temperance. If you get any other interpretations that I didn't say, definitely feel free to take them. Feel free to share them if you like. Maybe someone else would resonate with them as well. But I'm going to go ahead and get into your reading now. So go ahead and pick your pile or piles, and I will see you in your reading. Hi there, pile one. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Strawberry Quartz Moon and the Starpower Tarot, this is going to be your reading on what it is you need to know right now. So pretty straightforward. If what I'm talking about, you're like, yes, I need to know this, then it's your reading. If you're like, I don't need to know this, then this is not your reading. But if while I'm shuffling, you would like to just focus your energy on the cards and just set the intention that the message meant to find you comes through, please do so. I am taking reversals in this reading, and reversals are not bad. Don't freak out if you see a ton of reversals. They are just communicating information to me in a different way. There's nothing bad. And yes, I will be taking it personally if you tell me I'm not shuffling enough, because you don't even see how much shuffling I do off camera. So I will ask you to breathe. I feel like some of you are nervous. There is no reason to be nervous. I mean, I'm not going to invalidate your feelings, but a deep breath does us all good. This one more shuffle. And if you'd like to, shout out to everyone who leaves me a little like if you're enjoying it. That's super helpful, so thank you. Let's give it one more good shuffle and then we will start. Okay, so what does pile number 1 need to know at this time? What information has needed to find its way? Okay, we have the 10 of Swords reversed. Information. Okay, we have Death reversed. I'm gonna actually, because I don't know if that's gonna count as violence, and I'm like not trying to. Let's see here. What else does pile 1 need to know at this time? We have the Emperor upright. We have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and on the back of the deck we have the 10 of Cups upright. Okay, and now for your oracles, we have gift giving, we have fulfillment, we have soulmates, we have service, and the last straw. Okay, let me make sure everything's in the frame. Yes, it is. I don't like that there's this big old gap here, so we're just gonna put this angel here. It's a little angel eye angel. Okay. Pile number 1. If you did not check out my last reading about what is the best decision for you, that might be a reading you want to check out after this. If not, you totally don't need to, but what I can definitely see here is that there is an ending that's long overdue, and it's going to be the best ending that ever happened to you because it's leading you to actually what you want. The fact that we have the 10 of Swords and Death in reverse here definitely tells me that there is some sort of ending that's a long time coming. You know, a painful ending that may be hard for you to let go of, but very necessary. It definitely seems like if this is your reading, you've been kind of aware for a while now that there is something that's just not working. You're not fulfilled. You may even be miserable. I mean, with the Wheel of Fortune here in reverse, it definitely seems like you're not in the best place right now, and it definitely seems like something has to give, especially with the last straw. I feel like you could have had a wake-up call recently, or maybe even this reading is serving as a wake-up call to really get you to realize like you deserve better, and it's about time that you take control of that. The fact that we have the Emperor here really speaks to me of the fact that if you feel out of control, or like your joy or just your ability to be satisfied with your life is out of your hands, that is out of alignment for you. In fact, if you've kind of been in this position where you've been hoping for someone to kind of come in and fix things for you, like fairy godmother vibes or like knight in shining armor vibes, I feel like you're being asked to look in the mirror, because that fairy godmother, that knight in shining armor is actually you. And the fact that we have the 10 of Cups, soulmates, fulfillment, gift giving here, there are beautiful things waiting in the wings of this ending. And what I'm seeing here is by letting go of this, you're actually getting what you want. Now, for some of you, it's possible that this ending has already happened and you're feeling like, what if I made a mistake? What if this better thing doesn't come? What if I'm not doing the right thing? And I feel like you're being encouraged to study the course, especially if you didn't check out the mini reading at the beginning. There was definitely messages there of, you know, staying the course and trusting the path that you're on. I can definitely see here that there are gifts coming to you, and some of them may have been gifts in disguise, like, you know, endings out of your control. But from what I can see, if this ending hasn't happened yet, and you'll know exactly what it is. It could be a job, it could be living in a certain place, it could be some sort of relationship, or it could just literally be a way of living, a way of thinking about the world, a lifestyle that you've been a part of, that you are just realizing, this is contributing to my misery, this is keeping me stuck in a place where I'm unhappy, where I feel, you know, unfulfilled. And definitely if you are trying to manifest a soulmate, I mean, we have soulmates here. And this doesn't have to be romantic. It can be platonic. It could be really like any type of soul connection that's useful for you. It definitely seems like a lot of what you're wanting is waiting in the wings for this ending to happen. I mean, the fact that we have the last straw here, I definitely see that, like, whatever you're holding on to anyway that isn't serving you, it's not going to be here much longer anyway. And there might be a grieving process in that, where you might have to, you know, really process that. But the beautiful result is that what's coming through instead is exactly what you were looking for, and in fact, even more of what you were looking for. If you're planning on starting something new, if you've had a dream of starting something, the fact that we have this fulfillment card here, this peach, is a beautiful sign that, like, whatever you are considering starting is a beautiful, will be successful, will be beautiful. But I also see, like, if it feels like you have been trying to move in molasses, like, just anything you do in life just seems to be unnecessarily challenging. It seems to be just holding you back to a degree that is like, this is almost comical how challenging it is for me to, like, get out of bed and do what I need to do. It's because it's almost comical that you've been holding on to this situation for so long, because once you do, you're gonna let go. Like, once you let go, you're gonna be like, wow, like, I wish I would have done that so much sooner. But of course, we don't want to shame ourselves for, like, the decisions that we make. I feel like for some of you, and maybe all of you, I don't want to generalize, but I feel like for a lot of you, one of the things that stopped you from making this decision is maybe fear of stepping out of line, or fear of disapproval from others for making this decision. Maybe even too, maybe it's, maybe this decision goes against what you thought you wanted or what you think is right for you. So, like, for example, let's say you're realizing that you want to have children, and this is just an example, I'm not saying this is the case for all of you, and maybe, you know, you've been very heavily focused on your career to the point where you've kind of neglected your personal life, and you have friends around you that have these similar visions, and now that your perspective is shifting, you're like, I'm feeling kind of guilty, or like I'm doing something wrong about making this decision, about wanting to change things up. Or it could be the inverse, where, you know, everybody is settling down and having families, and you're like, you know, I really just want to focus on my career. I really want to focus on my own ambition. You know, you may be feeling like, am I doing something wrong? Am I making a mistake? And the only mistake that you can possibly make is live your life according to what other people think is correct or what other people think is right. You have nothing to prove. And I think you really need to remind yourself of that, because there is this vibe like you're living your life to try to prove something to others rather than living your life in a way that genuinely feels good to you. And I feel like that's actively blocking your fulfillment and blocking the people that are meant to come into your life, that want to be a part of your life, and that love the version of you that is the true you. I also feel like there could be, for some of you, a certain influence in your life that's likely in the form of a person that you may not even be that close to. Maybe you're in the same proximity towards them, like a coworker, or, you know, somebody that's in like a friend group that you're in, but you're not the closest to them. That, like, I'm hearing like stink eye or evil eye. Like, it's almost like you valued this person's opinion way too much and they really like having that power over you. In fact, it almost feels like they have an insecurity around the fact that, like, it seems like there is just some element to you that is just natural in who you are that really bothers them because it doesn't come natural to them, or it's not natural to who they are. And I feel like you questioning the decisions that you've made or wanting to change your life in a certain way is really confronting to them and upsetting to them. If you've talked about, like, maybe doing something differently or considered it, I feel like this person would likely be the one to be like, that's a terrible idea, like, you'll regret it. Like, this, I get the vibe of someone that would really enjoy keeping you small with them, and really does not want to see you happy. And if you're like, I don't know anyone like that, then that message is not for you, and I'm so glad you don't have anyone like that in your life. But if you do, I would just really say, like, do not take this person's opinion seriously. They're definitely projecting their own insecurities. And I definitely feel like there is this message here of really asking yourself, what has meaning to you? Like, the story in this service card talks about the woman lying in the bed. Her name is Honey, and, you know, she is at the end of her life. And it talks about how, you know, she kind of wonders if she did something wrong, or that if she didn't live her life fully because she never had a career outside of the home. But, you know, the point of the story is she realizes, no, she didn't live her life with regrets, because being a mother to her was what had meaning for her. And not only did she do that job to completion, but she also taught her child the value of serving others, the value of family, the value of loving others. And even though it may not be what everybody wants, it's what she wanted, and she fulfilled, you know, the role that had the most meaning for her, even though it may not have been what everyone else respected, or be what others wanted. And so I do feel like, you know, the semantics of what has meaning for you and what is fulfilling for you is different for everyone. In fact, they could be wildly different. But the core theme here is that fulfillment is not out of reach for you, and it may feel like it is because you are trying to find fulfillment within the confines of what other people find acceptable and find worthy of pursuing, and that is why it maybe feels like you can't have it all in your life. Like, and I think what's kind of hard to recognize is that if you haven't experienced true fulfillment from a place of authenticity, you can't understand what it feels like to recognize that lack of approval, or that lack of understanding around, like, not fulfilling that societal ideal or that ideal that others share. Like, you won't care about that because you'll realize, like, oh, like, this is for me and that's for them, and that's cool. And I think what you'll find too, even in this shift and in this pursuit, I think you'll realize, like, oh, I think that some of these people are actually trying to convince themselves as well that this is what they want. I think that maybe they are much more attached to an idea of what they think will make them worthy, rather than just doing what makes them happy. Like, you are worthy of what you actually want, and worthy of the experiences that are going to be genuinely fulfilling. And so the core message of what you need to know right now is that it's time to take control of what you know isn't serving you anymore. But it's fine if you don't, because the universe is going to make it happen anyway. So it's either like, you can make this happen, or we will make this happen for you. If you want it to happen on your own terms, best start taking that action. But you're not going to be stuck here. Like, it really doesn't matter whether you hold on or not, because if you do hold on, eventually, like, something's going to give. There is going to be a straw that breaks the camel's back, and you're going to have to shift anyway. And you're just, I mean this to sound ominous, but your joy is inevitable. Your fulfillment is inevitable, and you must live with it. Like, you have no choice but to accept that life is going to get better for you. And you can either start that process yourself and do the empowering thing and start saying no, or let life work its magic for you. Just might take longer, and you might spend longer than you would like in a position that you don't need to stay in. But ultimately, there's no right or wrongs here. And some of these shifts could come in the form of, you know, missing out on things or losing things that you weren't anticipating, and then you realize like, oh, I actually didn't miss this anyway. I definitely think that there's some outdated belief systems that are ready to leave your life, and I think as you step into this new chapter of your life, not only are you going to be so much more fulfilled, but also you're going to realize like, I never needed this. And I feel like you're going to be carving out a new belief system for yourself and new values and a different outlook that is much more fitting for the person you actually are. And I think you will also like realize that there doesn't have to be hard and fast rules around what is right for a person or what a person should be doing. And I feel like if you have any insecurities about how people view your life, I feel like there's going to be a lot more unapologetic energy around like, this is me, this is what I want. You are very Camp Rock coded. This is real, this is you, and you're exactly where you're meant to be. And you're gonna let the light shine on you. And I definitely think that there's gonna be a bit of an ego death in this process, where you realize that maybe your ego was attached to certain ideas of who you thought you had to be, and it's gonna be really liberating to let that go. It might be kind of painful for your ego. It might be kind of like, oh, I'm letting go of this, but it's letting go of what was never yours in the first place, and what could have never made you happy. And I think that the rewards for this are much more prosperity, genuine fulfillment, and soul connections that fill you with joy. And this can be like friendships, romantic relationships, family. Like, this is getting what you want and having it all. And also realizing that like, you don't have to accept subpar circumstances because you think that is all you deserve. There's definitely in this energy an experience of starting to be unapologetic about what you want, and realizing like, what's the point of this misery, especially if even like the end goal isn't what I truly want, what I truly desire. Like the 10 of Cups is genuine fulfillment, and we literally have the word fulfillment here. We have the word soulmates, we have the word gift giving. Like, you've given a lot of yourself to the world, and I feel like it's time to take some of you back and realize that it's really not about you needing to change or you needing to prove yourself. It's about letting go of those labels and identities and beliefs that made you feel like you weren't enough in the first place to have what you want, or made you believe that you had to do things in a certain way and then maybe you could have what you wanted. You can just have it now. And that starts with like getting rid of what's not meant to be there. So love it. Okay. So let's just go ahead and get some channeled messages from, well, the source is up to you. It kind of depends on what you believe in. For some of you, that could be spirit guides. For others, it could be the universe. Just unconditionally loving source energy. And just see what further guidance it has for you as you move through this process. So I'm just going to call it spirit. But, you know, you can ask for a specific being, like an archangel or a goddess, a deity, to come through. Whatever works for you. But Spirit, what would you like pile number 1 to know? What guidance do you have for pile number 1 when it comes to this shift and just their life in general? Okay, so we have 2 coming out. Slip into deep meditation and focus only on your breath. Connect to what your body needs by feeling its vibration and state of being. You will always feel more in tune and intuitively aware of exactly what you need the most. So yeah, maybe you're looking outside of yourself for a lot of what you think you need, and really it's just a matter of slowing down and listening to yourself. But we also have patience is required in your life right now. You may be finding that progress is very slow or your desires never seem to manifest. This is about divine timing. There are fated changes ahead, but now is not the time yet. I know that's frustrating, and I feel like divine timing is kind of one of those things where you have to like take it with a grain of salt. Like, timing works differently for everyone. And it's quite possible too that, like, I always say divine timing is not a date on the calendar. It changes with the shifts. It changes with us and what we do or don't do. Sometimes there are things outside of our control, but I really think that, like, if you know it's not time yet to make these changes, to like let go of certain things, then you're probably right. And it's maybe there is value in riding this out a little bit longer. You will know that. But I definitely think that maybe one of the biggest challenges that you're going to deal with is, as this ending happens, as this shift happens, there's going to be doubts, there's going to be worries. What if I'm doing the wrong thing? And there's going to be extra feelings of insecurity because you don't have the fulfillment yet. You don't have the answers yet. And that's really where the universe is going to ask you to kind of hold out, because those answers are coming. That fulfillment is coming, but it's a process. And I also think that within that process, there's a lot of personal empowerment and opportunities for you to kind of take the lead and start taking action. And I think if you don't, then it's probably going to take even longer for those things to happen, because it's just going to take you more time to kind of know what to do and what direction you want to head in, and that's absolutely okay. But one of the hardest things is like dealing with the mind when we feel uncertain and when we feel afraid, but that's okay. Like, you're definitely entering a process of empowerment for yourself. And I think one of the most important aspects of this process is really recognizing that you have to value how you're feeling, what you're experiencing, more than how it impacts, like, I wouldn't say people in your immediate circle, but like people. Think less of who it impacts. Obviously that can be kind of different if you have like children or things like that. That can be a more nuanced conversation, but you really have to take control and recognize that, like, if you are making decisions based on like saving other people's feelings, or keeping yourself in this safe little box that keeps you miserable, like, that is very disempowering, and that's not going to help you. Pile 3 of the decisions reading might be one for you to check out. But what else, Spirit? What other guidance do you have for pile 1? Move your body through physical exercise, and your energy can become stagnant and energetically slow when you are inactive. Walk, run, dance, bike, or engage in any other form of movement. Yeah, I actually really agree with this. Like, even just the physical act of moving can help life feel like it's speeding up, and at the very least it gets rid of a lot of mental energy that you might just spend like ruminating or worrying about unnecessary things. I also think a good song for you would be 3 Little Birds by Bob Marley, because I do feel that every little thing is going to be all right. It's actually going to be better than all right. I think it's going to be even better than you can imagine. And you're going to realize, like, I think one of the craziest parts of this is you're going to realize that what truly fulfilled you was not what you thought it was, but in fact, like, well, I wouldn't say not what you thought it was. I feel like it was what you felt deep down, but like it just didn't match with like what your mind's ideals were. And you're realizing like, oh, my mind was just wrong and I shouldn't have. And by letting go of that, I've realized there's so much more to the picture than I was looking at. But we also have develop a deeper connection with your ancestors and spirit guides by spending time in meditation or talking to them about your needs. They may be trying to reach you, but you have not responded. Ask for a sign, especially if you've been seeing feathers everywhere. It seems like feathers could be significant. And I definitely think meditation is a big thing here. Meditation isn't necessarily about like having like transcendental experiences. You absolutely can, but a lot of times meditation can just be the practice of focusing your mind and using it in empowering ways rather than disempowering ways. Like, think of your mind as like a knife, and if it's dull from a lack of meditation, it can't really cut through the bullshit that the mind conjures up. So I feel like it'll definitely be helpful in terms of focusing. And it seems like You could have ancestral connections that are really helping you through this process. And it's possible too that what you want to do, or these changes could be healing ancestral curses or healing ancestral patterns that are ready to go. And it could also be too, like in honoring these changes and doing what you want, like you're actually honoring your ancestors as well. And on the back of the deck, we have find the luxury in the small things and the big things in life. Allow yourself to feel proud of your accomplishments and successes. The abundance that follows, and in the abundance that follows, you are deserving of the rewards coming to you. So love that. Definitely confirmation of the fact that there are beautiful things coming to you, rewards coming to you. And I feel like one thing you will need to celebrate, and you probably won't feel like celebrating it, is like when this ending does happen. And maybe this isn't just like one ending, maybe this is like a domino effect of like, oh, I decide to like leave this job, and then that changes my perspective, and then I realize that I actually want to head in this direction. It could be like a couple of different things. But as you do that, like celebrate those changes. I know it might be hard to in the moment, you might be grieving what's gone, but celebrate the fact that what's leaving is making room for something even better. So we're going to go ahead and finish this reading off with a guidance card from the Sacred Rebels Oracle, which I think now I'm really glad that I pulled because it's very perfect for at least your reading. I don't know what the other readings hold, but I'm going to shuffle this off camera because there are beautiful depictions of the human body that our corporate overlords wouldn't approve of, despite the fact they likely do much more depraved stuff behind closed doors, but that's none of my business. So we'll just pull a card and then see what guidance the universe wants to leave you with. So for pile 1, Spirit, let's call forward their ancestors, angels, the beings that love pile 1 unconditionally. What guidance do you have for pile 1 at this time that you would like to leave them with? What do they need to know most? Ooh, we have Heaven Sent and the number 33. So 333 could be a significant angel number. I'm actually going to move it over here. And I like how this Heaven Sent, like look at how this 10 of Swords kind of seems to be trickling down into this Heaven Sent. And the 10 of Swords is all about endings, especially endings of like the mental body, of thoughts, of beliefs. And they can be kind of hard. I mean, they can also represent literal endings and things like that. But I definitely think any endings outside of your control, just know that they're there for a reason and they're actually going to be exactly what you need. 33. Just as we receive gifts in the physical world through thoughtfulness of others to acknowledge how much we mean to them, so too we receive gifts on other levels, including the spiritual level. So yeah, definitely gifts coming. That's like double confirmation of that. A spiritual gift is something that happens through grace. We can ask for help and it may be given in response to that request. All requests for help are answered. A spiritual gift can also be given without us asking for anything at all, at least not consciously. Sometimes it is our hearts that cry out for help. While we are busy getting on with our to-do lists, we don't often stop to think about what our hearts might need. If we do, and an immediate solution is not obvious, we just get on with life, either letting the issue be or taking the more painful option of dwelling on it without seeing how it might be resolved. However, there is a loving benevolence in life that knows exactly what we need and how it can best come to us, even when we are not quite so clear. This force actively seeks to assist us in walking our life path. That loving sweetness is being offered to you now, or soon will be, in the form of a spiritual gift. Your spiritual gift may be symbolic. It may be something that seems ordinary but holds a lot of meaning to you. It might be an object that catches your eye and mesmerizes you. You might think that you are appreciating how lovely it looks, but it is the underlying energy that captures you. Something in the appearance, color, or shape speaks to you and is perhaps answering an unspoken prayer. It is not the object that is the gift, that is just the wrapping. The actual gift is the subtle yet effective empowerment. It is like a spiritual booster shot that helps you move forward in life with additional zing, extra strength, and greater peace. You will be empowered to accomplish tasks that you may have nearly but not quite been able to manage on your own through the bestowal of a spiritual gift. The spiritual gift may or may not be recognizable to you. It may be very obvious: an offer, a windfall, a trip, a friendship, a new lover, or a remarkable healing in a current relationship. So even too, like if you feel like you have a soulmate connection in your life, it's like maybe there's not an ending there, but maybe something that has been causing a lot of strain will be ending. But also, like, definitely if you've been in the process of trying to manifest like a romantic relationship or friendships, like, and then you feel all this pressure in your life and you feel like things are going wrong, like, that's the manifestation working its magic. And you might feel like that's the wrong thing, but it's like, well, you think wrong, babe. This is actually right. This is bringing you what you want. It might be far more subtle and even more powerful, such as a jolt of energy that allows you to perceive things differently all of a sudden, and perhaps solve a problem that has been plaguing you. It will be bestowed as and when it is needed in the form that will best serve the love in you. This oracle also brings you the message, let yourself be helped. Assistance is coming your way, so act on it and say yes. If you have drawn the Oracle of Collaborative Dreaming, then this message is amplified. It is very significant as the assistance is coming from the hand of life itself. Trust it. So I feel like no matter what, like, you will not be alone through this process. This oracle also comes with the message that you are to trust in the things that you feel and say to others without knowing why. It moves them. You might not understand, but through trust, you are allowing yourself not to overthink and censor yourself. As such, you are able to become a vessel through which the spiritual gift can be passed on to others. Don't block yourself. Let life happen through you. Only benefit can come from this. If you've drawn any other card in addition to this one, it acts as a wild card and an amplifier. Whenever you draw the Oracle of Heaven sent in addition to another card, the universe really wants your attention. I feel like in general, the universe wants your attention. It is saying, look, love is speaking to you directly here, so pay attention. Really feel the truth of what is being said, so trust it. You are being helped. It is simple to receive the gift that is headed your way. The healing process below will activate that for you. And the healing process says to just say out loud, through unconditional love, I now accept the spiritual gifts that are bestowed upon me with complete trust and gratitude. So be it. That's beautiful, and I definitely feel like there are beautiful things coming your way, and I'm very excited for you, Pile 1. But that is all I have for you guys, so thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel. But if you'd like to do that in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates. Definitely come back and let me know what beautiful things are happening for you, and subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. Shout out to my notification squad. Y'all are the best. If you want me to see your comments, I usually see when I first upload. After that, it is up to the universe. Other ways, you can check out my candles, mini candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. You can check out my merch, my social media. Not a whole lot going on there though, if I'm being honest, because I hate social media. Really ironic in terms of my job, but you can check out other videos, especially ones with extendeds. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope that this message resonated. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Bumblebee Jasper Sun, look at how nicely that fits. And the Paws Tarot, this is going to be your reading on what you need to know right now. Now, this is going to be pretty straightforward. If you hear it and you're like, yep, I needed to know this, then this is your reading. And if I'm talking and you're like, I don't need to know this, then this is not your reading. I apologize for the lack of satisfying shuffling in this group. These cards are a little bit thicker, a little bit hard to shuffle. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit thicker. The cards are cute, so it's worth it. But while I'm shuffling, if you just want to set the intention that the messages you need come through for you, please feel free to do that. I am doing reversals in this reading, and just want to give a friendly reminder that reversals are not bad. They're just giving me information. So don't freak out if you see reversals. The sky is not falling. The world is not ending. It's not negative. It's just communicating information from moi. Okay? Okay. Let's not have a clenched asshole over something that's not a big deal, with peace and love. Okay. That's like that. I think the whole internet needs to hear that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, Pile, oh my god, I need to do it again. I'm like, I gotta do it one more time. Okay. No more, because this is starting to hurt my hands. Okay. Pile number 2, please. Spirit, what does pile number 2 need to know right now? Okay. Oh my God. Speaking of a little bit thicker, I think this is my favorite star card I've ever seen. I love it. This better not. I really don't want to get in trouble for censorship. I shouldn't. It's just a butt. I'm gonna be... I'm gonna have to censor it. God. All right, well, at least it matches the vibe. That's the cutest little butt I've ever seen. Like, last time I did this reading, I got demonetized because I said this C word too much. You know what I think our corporate overlords are? A bunch of see you next Tuesdays. That's what I think. Okay, anyway. What else, Spirit? What else does pile number 2 need to know? We have the 5 of Wands, upright. What else? We have the 10 of Cups in reverse, the Empress in reverse. And on the back of the deck, we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. Okay, I'm gonna need you to drop the address of who or what is making your life so difficult, because I'm about to throw hands and you're probably like, Xoxo, you need to throw hands on my brain. And I'm gonna be like, okay, I will schedule your lobotomy. But for your oracles, we have stillness, we have love, we have yang, we have victim, and we have the star. Okay. Yeah. All right. Are all these in the... Yes, they are. I am about to give you a message with peace and love, but you guys need to wake the fuck up. Like, there is real bounty, beauty, love, and wonderful things that have already been in your life and that are going to continue to come into your life, and you are actively blocking your blessings, either because you feel like you don't deserve them, or you are holding on to past experiences, or holding on to the opinions of people that just do not fucking matter. And you're letting the haters win. I'm actually really upset at you right now because, like, you have so much going for you. Like, we have the star literally coming out twice. Like, you're a star, baby. Like, literally. The Empress in reverse, I know some of this comes from low self-esteem. I know some of this comes from feeling like you're unworthy. I know that this feels like you probably feel guilty for being successful, or guilty for being beautiful, or having wonderful things, and you need to fucking stop. Like, I honestly, I want to hold space and have compassion for this, but, like, I'm gonna need you to, like, stand in the mirror and wake up. You have everything you need to succeed and thrive, and you are actively disempowering yourself from letting that happen because you think you don't deserve it, and you're letting your inner demons and your low self-esteem get in the way of that. This is a wake-up call that you need to start being kinder to yourself and stop letting yourself lie to yourself. You're not keeping yourself, quote unquote, humble by tearing yourself down or believing you're not worthy of what you're receiving. You need to start looking at your greatness. I'm really honestly upset with this. This is like Beyonce being like, I can't go out because I don't look good in this outfit. I'm sure Beyonce feels that way, but, like, she figures it out, right? Like, she's still Beyonce. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, if you're being compared in a reading to Beyonce, like, I think you need to take a good look in the mirror and recognize that you're being way too hard on yourself, and it's actually really hard to watch. I would not be shocked if a lot of you were in positions at one point in life where you you did not have everything going for you, where you were likely bullied or treated like you were less than. You could have trauma or painful past wounds that are still coming up into the present, but I'm telling you right now, you need to start fucking dealing with them. You need to start. And I'm swearing up a storm, but that's because anyone outside of your position, like, everyone can see this stuff but you. And, like, all you're doing is letting the people that wanted you to be miserable in the first place succeed. but you're giving them what they want. You're literally giving the rats what they want. And then on top of that, you're not able to enjoy the beautiful blessings and ample opportunities that are already in front of you. You are manifesting shitty outcomes in your life because you believe that's all you're worthy of. It's almost like you have everything going for you. Like, you are like Dorothy, and they're like, hey, follow the yellow brick road, and you're like, but what if I can't find the end of it? And like, I don't know, I don't feel like I should be on this road. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like the Wicked Witch was right. Like, stop. Like, okay, I know I'm being kind of a dick right now, but I feel like it's because a lot of you guys know this stuff, but no amount of like, oh baby, it's okay, like, cajoling is going to wake you up out of this. You need to have a sense of fucking man energy about this, the emperor energy. Like, I don't care if your testes are real or metaphorical, but you need to kind of stand up for yourself and be like, F this negativity, F this nonsense, and cut out the stuff in your life that is reaffirming that you're not good enough and keeping you stuck in old narratives that have far outlived their time in your life. You are so much more than you realize that you are. And it's genuinely painful to sit here and see you actively thwart your own potential, and not just potential, what you already are, and the opportunities that you have further to create, and shooting yourself in the foot. Like, newsflash, there will never be a point where society gives you permission to be yourself and all of society decides to cheer for you and be happy for you. It just won't happen. Misery loves company, and there's a lot of miserable, bitter people out there who will never, ever get out of that energy, because that is what they like. That is what they are comfortable with. That is what they enjoy. And there's nothing that they enjoy more than dulling the shine of those that shine brightly, i.e. you. And I know that it is hard to realize that some people don't like you. People don't like me. It happens to everybody. It doesn't matter how much people like you or don't like you. Some people will just not like you because a bunch of people do like you. Like, there is no winning in this life when it comes to being able to just have a life where nobody challenges you and nobody has a problem with you and everybody roots for you and your successes. It's just never going to happen, because people are miserable and they're focused on themselves, and that's just how it is. But that should not stop you. You really need to stop making yourself small. Like, this is the energy of deliberately making yourself small and feeding into unresolved wounds around self-esteem and self-worth that are not only keeping you miserable, but stopping you from living your authentic life purpose. And I also think if you're a creative person, it is depleting your creative energy. It is keeping you stuck in this feeling of disempowerment, and you will actually create a situation that is much harder to get out of if you don't stop this cycle. Like, there is no reason for you to be this miserable. And if you are, like, I know that mental health is a thing, like, and if you are though, and you are struggling with your mental health, that is something where you need to start seeking help and get resources for it, instead of just reaffirming it and being like, well, there's nothing I can do. This is just how it is. I know that this isn't the most like lovey-dovey, like, oh honey, it's okay, but that's because you don't need that. You need to hear that you have everything that you need to succeed, and you are your own worst enemy, and you've got to stop getting in your own way. I feel like you have 50 things outside of you that you can point to as a reason why you're not doing the thing you know you should be doing, why you're not fully embracing your life, why you feel like things aren't going to get better. Like, I feel like beautiful things have happened to you, and rather than embracing them, you're like, oh, well, I feel like I don't deserve them, and what if I lose them? And it's like, well, you're creating that. That's going to happen if you don't embrace them. And sure, everything is transient in life, like nothing lasts forever, but it's just really hard to see someone that is meant to shine and that does shine actively dull themselves because they feel like they're not worth it, and they're overly concerned about the opinions of people that just need to put some shades on or close the blinds. Like, you need to recenter your focus towards yourself and let go of the opinions you have let go of the opinions of what other people think of you. It's none of your business. And there's a lot of toxicity in the world right now, especially on the internet, especially online. Everybody, like, you could post a picture of a gazebo and some random dickhead from Arkansas is going to be like, must be nice to have a gazebo. I have never had a gazebo. And one time I tried to build a gazebo and it set on fire. And also, I lost everything and my dad hates me. And it's like, okay, dickhead from Arkansas, you should be going to therapy. Like, it's not your problem. Like, people want to make your problems their problems so badly. And if you let them, you will. I feel like a lot of the negativity you've actually been internalizing is not even yours. It's other people's. Was never yours in the first place, but the reason you're able to take it on is because there is unresolved wounding around not feeling like you deserve the beautiful things that have happened to you, and it's making it really challenging for you to create more abundance, more prosperity, more beautiful things in your life that the universe wants to give you, because you're pushing it away, being like, no, I don't deserve it. It's like, stop. Like, how would the world feel if Beyonce pushed away her microphone? We would have missed out on so many bops, wouldn't we? Like, there's so much here where, like, I feel like Tyra Banks right now. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you, pile two? Like, you deserve so much better than what you are allowing for yourself. And I feel like some of you need to have a difficult conversation with yourself and really ask, like, is my attitude getting in the way of my ability to enjoy my life? Is my attitude really keeping me stuck in a place that I know I have no business being in because it does not match the life that I've cultivated for myself, the life that I've dreamed of, and the life that I actually want to live? You know, like, what is all of this worth if you don't allow yourself to enjoy it? There's really a need for you to recognize that, like, you have a choice in how you deal with this energy, and I feel like you haven't enjoyed the energy that you've been in with it. I feel like you know that you're keeping, like, I feel like you know to agree that you've been keeping yourself unnecessarily miserable, and that could actually be manifesting in even worse mental health. It could be manifesting in ways where, like, you're just stuck in a place where you don't need to be. And I feel like more than anything, what you need to know is that you don't have to answer to anyone, but you are certainly going to regret it if you look back on your life and be like, wow, I had all of this going for me and I pushed it away, or wow, I didn't realize, like, I let so much bullshit that had nothing to do with me get in the way of my joy. And it's like, yeah, but you don't have to let it continue. There's really a call here for you to look at how love is asking for you to rise above the narratives of others that do not belong in your narrative, that do not belong in your consciousness. I really feel like you have guilt for shining and for having wonderful things in your life, and you need to realize, like, things come and go in life, and you may not always be in this position where you have things in this order and all of this together. Embrace it, appreciate it. I'm not saying that you can't ever have it back, and sometimes I do have a theory that, like, we do just need to not see what we have, and we do have to kind of be down on ourselves to then really get it back, or, like, push for it and realize, like, what's truly important to us. Because sometimes I feel like with these energies we may realize, like, some of this stuff we didn't actually want, and, like, some of this stuff, you know, maybe we want something different, and that's okay. But I feel like a lot of things that actually have brought you joy and that are exciting for you, you've kind of pushed away or pretend like don't matter, or felt guilty in embracing because you may be afraid of losing them, or you may feel guilty that these are your circumstances and other people don't have that. Life isn't fair. That is just one reality. Life is not fair. And there's no reason to push away the good things happening to you because someone else has it worse. Why do that when you could potentially be the inspiration for that person to push for something different in their life? Like, there's a real need for you to let go of guilt and shame that isn't yours, because there are going to be people that want you to feel guilt and shame about your circumstances, that want you to feel bad about yourself, that want you to feel like you're not worth it. I mean, look at how much negativity is sent in the way of people that are successful, and that people, like, it's, and you need to watch ContraPoints' video on envy, and I don't care if you've seen it before, you need to watch it again, because this 100% applies to you, and you need to recognize that, like, this energy will continue to sabotage you. You will continue to self-sabotage unless you really take a step back and realize, I don't deserve this shit. I actually deserve to embrace and appreciate my life. Like, you are letting people who don't even know you, I think, even get in the way of your own joy. And that is a crime against yourself. That is self-betrayal, and that is not okay. And as an Aries, that can be kind of unapologetic. I'm not going to tell you that it is, and I'm not going to coddle you around this situation, because you have everything you need to empower yourself, and I think you know that. I'm just going to tell you like it is. You're amazing, and you need to get over it, and you should really start appreciating what you have in your life and start creating more of that, because you can have even more, and you don't need to feel guilty about it. And in fact, anyone who tries to make you feel miserable about it, they can suck. They can kiss your cute little ass, or big ass, I don't care, whatever kind of ass you have. That's really what you need to know. But beyond that, I feel like there's so much love trying to reach you, and I feel like you're really being called to recognize that, like, the biggest inhibitor to you enjoying your life is you, and, like, nobody can give you that permission but yourself. And I really just feel like there is a need for you to look at what in your life you are continuing to allow in your space, and how you are letting your guilt and shame get in the way of you just embracing your life and enjoying it. Because, man, it is such a blessing to have these things. And let me be clear, like, obviously, mental health makes things challenging, you know? Anyone in any position can experience depression. We all have those experiences, and they're not easy. But if you're not doing anything about it, or even recognizing it or acknowledging it, that's a problem. Especially if you have the means to do something about it, you know? Like, if you are stuck in a depressive plate, like in a depressed, if you're dealing with depression, you can still be doing something about it by just consciously recognizing, okay, like, I am experiencing depression right now, and that's okay. I'm going to be kind to myself. Because I'm not saying don't be kind to yourself. I'm being aggressive about this because I feel like you really need to wake up and smell the damn flowers, the damn roses, and realize that you are a beautiful flower that deserves to blossom in the sunlight, that doesn't deserve to wilt and wither in a dark corner alone. But it is okay to be gentle with yourself. And I think you need to realize you're being unnecessarily hard on yourself and taking on narratives of, like, mentally ill anonymous 14-year-olds that have not even experienced any life yet, and taking that as your truth. Like, I'm gonna need you to stop. I'm gonna need you to, like, I feel like for some of you, you really may need to set some boundaries with social media, and what narratives you may be interpreting, because I feel like it's just not healthy. Like, I'm telling you, the healthiest, happiest people are not spending their life on Twitter. They're not spending their life on TikTok. They're not spending their life on Reddit. They're not spending their life on these. They might go on, they might peruse, but they're not sticking around, and they're not taking on those narratives. Like, life is happening for you in real life, and I feel like you are letting things that are not real life, that are projections and insecurities and wounding of others, impact you. And really the only thing that is your job in all of this is to see what underlying wounds are allowing you to accept these narratives, and allowing you to believe that you are unworthy and undeserving of not only what you desire, but of all the blessings you already have. And I also feel called to say, I'm not saying that, like, you're a bad person for not recognizing your blessings. I think we all do that, right? I think we can all sing. But that, you know, at any point you can choose to acknowledge those blessings and feel gratitude for them instead of shame. Like, you can always change things up. You can always do things differently. And, like, you can always stop. You can always quit your bullshit. Like, always. And I really just feel this sense of, like, it's not even about you realizing that you're more than you are. It's about realizing that you need to stop making yourself small. and see what you already are. Like, there is so much love in your life. There is so much abundance. There is so much prosperity. There's so much to you. And you shying away from that, shunning that, feeling insecure or embarrassed or unworthy of that isn't hurting anyone but you and those that could benefit from what you have to share with the world. And that's just a really sad thing. And you don't deserve that. And the longer you stay in that, the harder it is to get out. Not saying, and it's not impossible. You will, no matter what. I know you will. Like, it's just a matter of you realizing, like, you deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to enjoy your life. And quite frankly, if every single person in the world had the same opportunities as you, had the same blessings as you, a good portion of them would still be bitter and miserable, because that's just how they are, and that's just what they like, and that's what they're comfortable with. Some people just don't want to be happy, and their lack of happiness is not your responsibility to resolve. Even a therapist, it is not their job to make their client happy. It is their job to support their client and do their best to help their client through that process, but ultimately they can't do the work for their client, right? And also, I guess the goal of therapies isn't necessarily happiness, it's healing and growing and evolving. But I feel like there's, for you, there is an essence of joy here that you're missing out on, where you really don't want to look back on your life and be like, man, why didn't I enjoy that as much as I could have? Because you're going to see it in hindsight no matter what, but you really deserve to see it in the present, just all the value that there is. And you deserve to appreciate the blessings that you have and recognize that you are being primed to create even more. You're being primed to shine even brighter and have even more and show up more and be even more fulfilled. What a beautiful fucking thing. It's like you're an Olympic level runner and you're literally shooting yourself in the foot because you're but someone's gonna be mad at me if I get gold. F them. They can go run. They can. It's not about them. It's about you. And I really think that you have not given yourself the space to really look at what within you is so attached to these external narratives that are making you feel like you're a bad person for enjoying your life, or you're a bad person for having blessings. You're not. Jealousy is a disease. And I pray that those that have affected you so deeply get well soon. But you need to get well too and realize that the way that those people treat you and the way that they see you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Go to any snark subreddit on the internet and all you will really see, beyond maybe a couple of valid criticisms, is a lot of projection of their own insecurities, of their own problems, of their own stuff. It's not about the person they're shitting on. It's about them and how they feel. I feel like if more people understood that, we would all be happier, but unfortunately that's not the case. So, moral of the story, what you need to know is that you are in fact that bitch, and I'm gonna need you to get over that, and I'm gonna need you to embrace that, and I'm gonna need you to look at what is going on inside of you that is reaffirming that you are not that bitch, and work on healing that, because that is what is helping you keep yourself miserable. That is what is holding you back, and you don't deserve this. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to feel good in your own skin. You deserve to enjoy your blessing. You deserve to enjoy your life, period. And you don't deserve, let's be real, none of us deserve the BS that occurs that we get from random strangers or people in our life that are miserable. But it just happens because those people don't know how to deal with themselves. They don't know how to deal with their life. And there are plenty of systemic issues occurring right now that is just making everything a whole lot damn worse. But you're not responsible for the system. You're not responsible for what's going on in their life. You're responsible for you. And whatever blessings you do have, you deserve to take advantage of them. And you deserve to take advantage of those opportunities. And also just recognize, not everything happens forever, and that's okay. But you also always have the opportunity to change the narrative and create something different. You deserve the world, and that's why the world is being given to you. Receive it. You deserve it, bitch. I believe in you, and I swore so much. So if it's not the booty that gets me in trouble, it could be my big fat mouth. But with that being said, let's get some further guidance for you. So these are going to be channel messages from whatever unconditionally loving energy you believe in. You can pick a specific source like Archangel Michael, or you know, a specific goddess. You can pick just the universe. I'm gonna say spirit. Whatever you want. You want it, you got it. Okay. Pile 2, Spirit. What guidance do you have for Pile 2 right now? What do they need to hear? Find a more minimalistic approach to your life, your living space, your friend circle, your thoughts. It's time to simplify and allow some breathing space through the clutter. And so I feel like especially like you need to look at what sources are keeping you stuck, keeping you miserable. Like that is not stuff that you need. And I feel like honestly, there's a lot of like love within you that wants to be seen by you that you're probably not seeing because you're not consciously registering it, because you're probably stuck in rumination or stuck consuming certain things that are just keeping you stuck in a place you don't want to be. Like love is doing everything in its power to reach you, but if you don't reach back, if you don't reach out, if you don't look at what you need to let go of, like it's going to be a lot harder. Okay, what else? Believe in the impossible, and just for a while, indulge in the fantasy or two of yours and remember what it feels like to hold space for innocence and blind faith. Make a wish, you might just be surprised. I'm telling you, there are so many blessings already that are trying to come your way and like that you feel are impossible. I feel like part of you may feel like it's impossible to genuinely feel good about yourself and enjoy your life, and it may be one of those things where you're like, wow, I've achieved this much, I've done this much, and I still feel like shit about myself. Yeah, a lot of people that haven't achieved and that haven't done just haven't learned that lesson yet. But that's what you have to realize. Like a lot of our joy, a lot of our fulfillment doesn't necessarily come from what we've done. It comes from how we feel and what we believe and what our values are. And I feel like part of you might feel like it's genuinely impossible to feel good. And I feel like that is something that you need to let go of. I'm thinking of that like Cinderella song, you know, the song Impossible. Whitney Houston sings it the best when she's in that version of Cinderella. There's like a lyric, it's like impossible, things are happening every day. I don't know. Just listen. Like Whitney Houston is an excellent example of someone who was just like so beautiful and so incredible and had, you know, well, her life was very tragic in a lot of ways and had a lot of people in her life that did not care for her, but like she deserved a lot better than what she got, and it's unfortunate. But it also didn't help that on top of that suffering, you know, she had the general public shitting all over her for problems they had no nuance or understanding of. I mean, think about how often people are like, wow, we were really mean to Britney. Wow, we were really mean to Justin Bieber. It's like, yeah, it's almost like these people are still suffering despite the success they've achieved and could be going through unspeakable horrors that you couldn't fathom, but that doesn't matter because you're upset with your life, so you're gonna shit all over them. And it's like, it's this sad reality, but it, you know, I feel like we as humans have so much more awareness about like our internal dialogues, our internal, like, you are precious, like just as precious as Whitney Houston. And I'm telling you right now, like, you deserve to cultivate your preciousness and have people around you that support you, and you just deserve to have power over your life in that way. And unfortunately, a lot of the people I just described didn't have a lot of power over their own life and didn't have people that were rooting for them. And I feel like this message came for you because like you deserve to have those things. And one of the hardest things sometimes I think is saying no to those that want to hold us back, that want to disempower us, that want to project their own ugliness, project their demons onto us, and it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And I just feel like you have such a light that deserves to be shown, and I feel like you're just holding back because you're afraid of the reactions of people. And no matter what, people are going to react the way that they're going to react, and it's up to you to find ways to deal with that and find ways to protect yourself. But it does you no good to hold yourself back. I've probably given some poor examples, so I apologize for that, but like, I just feel like there is a lot more beauty to you than you realize, and I feel like there is so much more to you than you realize, and your story doesn't need to be a tragedy. It really doesn't. And the only one that can truly stop that from happening is you, because you have the pen. And so whatever you know is not able to be achieved on your own, please seek help. Please find those resources, because you don't deserve to suffer alone. And it doesn't matter how many things you have in your life. Like, you're not a bad person or ungrateful for still being unhappy. Like, you're allowed to still want more. You're allowed to admit that you're not happy, but it's really a waste to leave it at that and not try to turn the other page and find ways to be happier, find ways to heal, find ways to grow, and find changes to make. You're a star, baby. Get over it. Okay. What else, Spirit? Healing music frequencies and other forms of sound healing will benefit you greatly now, as it will allow your vibration to tune to the desired frequency. Set aside time alone to unwind with sound. I definitely think that's a good idea. That could definitely too be something like, if it's hard for you to sit in stillness, like, and sit with yourself, do something where you have like at least a little bit of stimulation with like sound frequencies or sound baths. What else? There we go. Your etheric body is extremely permeable. Be conscious of any darker or negative energies that can quickly send your vibration downhill. Protect and seal your aura at this time. So yeah, you definitely want to be doing energy work and really be conscious of what you're holding on to that isn't yours, because it's not yours and it's really gonna hold you back. And on the back of the deck, we have Mother Nature is calling you to connect with her grounding, healing, and connect with her for grounding, healing, and centering. Seek out your favorite spot outdoors and find gratitude for all living things. Touch, see, and feel all of the elements. So yeah, grounding is one of the best ways that you can actually protect your energy. I would look up like grounding meditations or things like that, energy protection meditations. Just do something like that. Like, you don't have to sit there and just let things happen to you. You can say no. You can push things away. You can do something differently. And you don't have to let the negativity and darkness around you in. But, you know, you may need extra precautions, and that's okay. I hope I wasn't too hard on you guys. I need you guys to recognize that you're amazing, and it just really upsets me to see like amazing, wonderful people like believe that there's something wrong with them, or that like the negativity of the world is theirs to carry. And you know what, maybe I'm so passionate about it because maybe to a degree I can relate to this, and I feel like it's just very human. Like, we're all fallible, but like, I'm gonna need you guys to start seeing your value and see your worth, because like, there's always gonna be negative, whiny bitches. As long as there is air in this world to breathe, there will be bitches whining, but you don't have to listen. And I encourage you not to. Period. Okay, so we're going to finish off with a final guidance card from the Sacred Rebels Oracle. They're beautiful depictions of the human body that our corporate overlords would find obscene. So I'm going to shuffle this off camera first to make sure there's no nudity. But Pile 2, Spirit, what guidance do you have for Pile 2 when it comes to what they need to know right now? We have going beyond normal. Okay. 14. On the path of life, there are deciding moments where we can choose to go with the mainstream, or we can dare to take a bolder, more authentic, trusting way, even if it seems riskier or less safe. To rely solely on logic and science without incorporating the mysterious and magical is a recipe for an existence that is far too dry. The sacred rebel within our hearts will always choose a juicier approach to life. You are currently approaching such a choice point. You could say that the choice is about balance. It is less about choosing to honor either art or science, gardening or architecture, but it's also about integrating all approaches that you enhance rather than hinder your life journey. So I feel like one way that this applies is like, yes, there are lots of people suffering, and that's horrible and that's terrible. And I feel like we all hope that our suffering is lessened, and there is the reality that there are systems that are creating a lot of suffering, and that in terms of our power to change it, who knows how much we genuinely have. But you can still choose. Like, humans have always been stuck in systems that have not been great for them, and a lot of recorded history. So, you know, there are things outside of our control, and I think that you can validate the fact that there are people suffering, and that is sad, and but your suffering matters too, and it doesn't have to be a pissing contest of who's suffering more. Like, someone else's suffering is not more important than yours just because they have a worse lot in life than you do. It's probably not the best thing to maybe go to them about what you're dealing with. They're probably not going to hold space for that, understandably, but you don't have to self-flagellate because you feel bad that other people have it worse. You know what I mean? Placing science or architecture above all else kills off the rebellious heart. Steadfastly relying on logic, proof, and a complete set of plans and measures to dictate outcomes will suffocate the soul. Basing decisions on limited factors with an imbalanced measure of success is an Basing decisions on limited factors with an imbalanced measure of success is unnecessarily limiting. This approach prevents us from living freely, spontaneously, and with trust so that we can... Shoot, I lost my... I can't talk or read now. This approach prevents us from living freely, spontaneously, and with trust so that we can rebel against the need for things to go strictly according to plan. Choose to value decisions based on passion and instinct and trust in life enough to embrace it as an adventure and let it unfold as it will. There is a time and place for logic, strategy, and planning, and measurable outcomes. These are not bad tools to have, but we must be vigilant not to worship them or allow them to quash our less rational but equally valuable decision-making tools, intuitions, feelings, and those things you know without knowing how you know them. The flowing inspirational energy of the heart may have no conceivable basis in logic or reason and still be uncannily accurate. To remain rebellious, we must not sacrifice the art of emotion, instinct, passion, and intuition for the science of logic and strict planning. On the other hand, gardening and art do provide us with a plan, albeit more loosely held. This plan still requires us to set aside time, draw upon reliable methods, and to prepare with certain tools. However, there is also a healthy dose of organic flow, responsiveness, and trust in the creative process of bringing something to life. This leads to the cultivation of the most beautiful, abundant, and successful garden and the most vivid, healing art. You are being asked to stay open to the intuitive approach in your life, your work, your creativity, as well as in your spiritual journey. And that's part of the problem. It may be hard to listen to yourself intuitively because, like, your emotional body might be really painful to listen to, and that's causing you to, like, look at what is certain, what is logical, to the detriment of what helped you shine in the first place, your creativity, like what makes you shine. So definitely dealing with like the emotional stuff going on will help you listen to your intuition more once that settles. It's like, you know, it's hard to see the bottom of rushing waters, a raging river, right? But once things are cleared, once the water is still, i.e. your emotions, you can kind of see all the way to the bottom. You know what I mean? And that might take some time. This leads to the cultivation of the most beautiful, abundant, and successful garden and the most vivid, healing art. And I feel like that's the thing, like, you are a beautiful, abundant, and successful garden. Like, and there's always going to be someone that's like, these hedges aren't trimmed the way that I think they should be. Or be like, I feel like there should be more flowers. And it's just going to be like, yeah, because you don't appreciate nature. Like, whatever. Like, that doesn't negate the beauty of the garden. Like, there are going to be so many people that appreciate the beauty of the garden. You know what I mean? You're being asked to stay open to the intuitive approach in your life, your work, and your creativity, as well as your spiritual journey. The intuitive approach can be likened to the method of a gardener or an artist. There is a sense of what might work where... There's a sense of what might work and a loose or even detailed plan. I don't know if that sentence makes sense. I think I'm just like, I don't know. But how the plan is carried out will depend on and respond to the flow of its surroundings. There is no need to control the situation, but rather a desire to nurture an idea to fruition. You may have pressures around you from the world or from your own conditioned nature to do things according to your rules, to a deadline or an accepted mainstream view that you need a well thought out plan for success in a commercial venture. However, sometimes the best plan is to do what feels intuitively truthful in the moment and trust that you are being led towards your own growth. Adopting this approach means you have to do far less planning and far more living. It is a pure and heart-centered way to manifest your art, your life path, and your essence into practical expression in the world. It involves a willingness to be led by nature instead of trying to control the powerful force of life, which is a bit like trying to fit a proverbial ocean into a teacup. It is far more intelligent to allow the ocean to be the ocean and to learn to swim in it rather than trying to cram it into a vessel that is much too small. This oracle brings you a special piece of guidance. You are moving outside of the plan. You are living on the border of what is socially accepted. This is good. And I even think that like just being happy and feeling good about your life is pretty outside of the mainstream right now, which is so sad. And I understand why, you know, there are a lot of reasons why, but also you don't have to let those reasons stop you. This is fringe-dwelling freedom. Others might not see this about you straight away as you seem pretty normal, but that secret eccentric streak is just waiting to show itself. And maybe you are an out and proud fringe dweller, completely comfortable with this way of being. Either way, this oracle brings you the message that you now have a chance to live from the heart more deeply and expressively than ever before. It wants you to realize that this is a legitimate, empowered, and creative way to live that honors all of who you are. You can give up forcing or squashing yourself down into a very limited set of so-called desirable qualities like intellect and control. If you are to relate to this consciously, this oracle brings you the further message that you are going to be breaking with tradition. Perhaps not entirely, but at least in a way that is meaningful to you. This will require you to have courage in your convictions and faith in your heart truths. This will help you inspire others around you to step out of fear and live more freely and lovingly. You are not necessarily meant to abandon logic and intellect altogether. You are to use them to serve the desires of the heart rather than replace its naturally spontaneous and truthful nature with controlled planning and narrow strategy. It's time to get a bit wild and let nature take its course. Yeah, I definitely think that would be helpful. And I feel like, you know, maybe I was so passionate about the fact that you weren't seeing your value that I missed out on maybe a message about that. Like maybe it's been very hard for you to step out of this process because you've been feeling stuck, like having to do things a certain way. But like, you know, you can do it. And I feel like I apologize if I maybe didn't give full justice to this message. So I hope that I did, and I hope that these oracles gave you insight anyway, and I'm sorry if I was unnecessarily aggressive. I hope you will forgive me. It's just I really think you're great, and I think you should think that too. And I just really want you to share more of yourself with the world. But there is a healing process here, so if you would like to hold on to that, save that, feel free to screenshot it so that you can do that on your own time. I feel like that's definitely way more empowering and powerful for you. It's definitely not normal to see your value and feel good about yourself and love yourself, but that's something that I feel like we need more people making normal and showing the world that it is possible. So pile number 2, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That's one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel, so thank you to everybody who does that. If you would like to show support in other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates, and you can subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, you can check out my candles. We have mini candles out, be sure to check those out and use code ASO10 for 10% off. You can check out other videos. You can like, comment, subscribe if you want me to see your comments. I do that when I first upload. Shout out to my notification squad. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. And I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the aura-coded fluorite that I like to call Ramiel and the Lightseers Tarot, this is going to be your reading on what you need to know right now. It'll be a pretty straightforward reading. If what I am describing, you're like, yes, I need to know this, then you found the right pile. If what I'm describing is something you don't need to know, doesn't apply to you, I would try a different group or do something else with your free will. I am using reversals for this reading today, but I don't want you to panic. Reversals are not bad. They just give me the information I need to give you the best reading possible. So don't get scared if you see that. It's absolutely okay. And while I'm shuffling, if you just kind of want to focus your energy on the cards and just set the intention that the messages most necessary come through for you. 2 interesting readings so far. Hopefully I'm less spicy in this one. Not spicy in terms of dirty, but spicy in terms of... I had a bad case of Aries scaries in the last group. Let's just say that. Okay. That was not the best shuffle. Let's do one more. Okay. So, pile 3. What does pile 3 need to know at this time for their highest good, please? Okay, we have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Pile 3. We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Pile 3. We have the 2 of Cups upright. We have the 8 of Swords upright. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the Emperor. Okay, interesting. And then for your oracles, we have Joy. We have Gateway. We have Regeneration. We have Perception. And the Taco. Okay, are all of those in the frame? Yes, but I'm gonna move these over. So, okay, couple of different interpretations here, but what I can definitely see for all of you is that if this reading is for you, you're likely going through it right now, and my heart really goes out to you, and I feel like the first thing you need to know is that everything is gonna be okay. Like, more than okay, actually. For some of you, there's a big glaring message. If you are in a relationship or seeing someone that you are really into that has a lot, like, that means a lot to you, the first thing I want to say is that the struggles you are going through is not going to deter this person from being there as a support system, and from wanting to be with you in general. I'm even seeing that for some of you, it seems like the hard time that you're going through is being exacerbated by feelings of shame that could be rooted in shame that you received from a caregiver, especially if you grew up in an environment where perfectionism was expected and you weren't really allowed to make mistakes or mess up. If you showed emotion, you could have been shamed or treated like you were weak, and that's just not true. One really big message here is that whatever is falling apart right now, whatever is not going well, I want you to know it's not forever. You're gonna be okay. And in fact, you are on the precipice of rebirth, things coming full circle, and great change. I actually really love this taco card because, first of all, who doesn't love tacos? All right, and who's ever stopped eating a taco just because it got messy? Like, not me. If you do, that's impeccable self-control. But like, I wouldn't stop eating a taco. I'm personally a hard shell girly, and them bitches never stay together, right? But does that make a taco any less delicious? Absolutely not. And I feel like in a lot of ways, you are a taco right now. You might be a bit of a mess, but that does not make you any less desirable or delicious. And especially if you have a partner or someone that you are seeing quite seriously, I do not think whatever you're going through is going to deter them. In fact, I feel like they might see it as a beautiful opportunity to get closer to you, and to be there for you and show you that they're serious about you. Now, for those of you who maybe are not seeing anyone, with this Two of Cups being here, I do feel like someone could come into your life very soon, or you could meet someone if that is of concern to you. If not, I do feel like this is a time for you to lean on your friends and spend time with people that care about you and bring you joy. I definitely feel like there is a negative dialogue running in your head that's not yours, that I feel like was definitely put into your head by caregivers or, people that you trusted, people that had authority over you, that really made you feel like you were incapable or made you feel like there was something wrong with you for experiencing basic human functions like emotions, and expressing those emotions. I definitely think that like everything could be going wrong except a connection with a certain person, or everything could be going wrong, but it seems like there are people there for you that you feel like, I don't deserve their compassion, I don't deserve their support. And I feel like that narrative running in your head is entirely not yours. And I feel like you're really being encouraged to let go of that. You could also, like I said, if there is no one in your life that you consider like a great friend or a great romantic partner, and that's something that you want, I do feel like that is coming in fact quite soon. And I don't think it's something that's contingent on you moving through this cycle. I actually think it's something that this cycle like is attracting that sort of person into your life, because it definitely seems like a necessary support system for you. And I feel like whether they're already in your life or not, I definitely think that part of this person's role in your life is to help undo belief systems around deservability of kindness, deservability of compassion, and just realizing that it is safe with the right people to open up and be messy and be vulnerable and show them what you're truly going through. I feel like there is this emphasis on you're not meant to go through everything alone. I mean, no human is. We're social creatures, but sometimes people can make or break that experience for us. And I feel like if you're someone who was really used to isolating as a young person or just hiding yourself and hiding your vulnerabilities, I definitely think that whether this is a connection or connections already in your life or coming into your life, you're really being encouraged to share with these people like the reality of what you're going through and the truth of what you're experiencing. I also feel like you're really being encouraged to take the small wins right now, whether that is, taking the long way to work on a scenic drive or walk, or, letting yourself have that extra coffee, or, just the small things that add to your daily experience. I definitely feel like you're being given permission to indulge, and also to recognize that you don't need to assess what is going on with you right now. You kind of just need to flow with it and be gentle and patient with yourself. I definitely feel like you are in an extremely chaotic place, but I do feel like order and structure is coming at the right time with this Emperor card here, because this energy is not lasting forever. And the fact that we have regeneration here, like there is a rebirth coming. It's like I feel like things are falling apart to come back together. And I feel like things falling apart, like if you're already in a relationship or already have a partner, or if you have like a really close friendship that's been really instrumental in just like helping you get through this process, you may have this fear that like that's also going to fall away. And I feel like that is not the case. And I feel like if you feel it's that way because you're not your best self right now, you're not at 100%, that is definitely something that you are being asked to unlearn and release, because not only is it not true, but it does a disservice to the people that do care about you, because what is friendship and love if not being there for the person you care about, especially when they're having a hard time? I know that sometimes like when my friends are going through something really challenging, it feels very good to know that they trust me with, whatever they're going through, and that they view me as someone that can be there for them. Like I see that as a compliment. And I also see that like, for me, it's like, oh, now it's my time to shine. Like I can be a support system. I can, engage in my value as a friend and be there and, remind my friend that they're not alone. And I feel like there are definitely people in your life that want to be there for you, more than you're already letting them. And I feel like you're really being called to ask for that, and also just unapologetically, like maybe you don't want to dwell in like the frustrating and challenging things you're going through right now. Maybe you just need someone to help take your mind off of that, and I feel like that is absolutely okay as well. Some of the things you're dealing with and going through, I feel like, are just things that have to be resolved through time and through gradual shifts. And I do feel like as well, you are in a place right now where you can be creating future outcomes that are more aligned with what you want if you want to. But I feel like for a lot of you, you may not have like the energy or the time, but I think especially the energy to kind of focus on the future and focus on what you want. I feel like if anything, that might just further reinforce the fact that you're not where you want to be, and the fact that you don't really feel as capable as you truly are right now. So I feel like more than anything, you don't really have to, especially if you're seeing a lot online or just hearing a lot about like manifesting and creating, like that's always there for you when you're ready for it. You know, the creative process in general, like it's not all about creating. There is the idea stage, there's the creation stage, there's the execution stage, there's the, you know, the tweaking stages, there's the release stage, there's the creative block stage, and all those are not necessarily in order. And I feel like you're definitely going through cycles in your life where they're not all happening similarly at the same time. Like, for example, it seems like in terms of relationships in your life, like that is either going well or it will be really soon. It really just depends, like, and you'll know like the individuals I'm talking about if they're already in your life. So if you're like, I don't have anyone like that, I really need you to know they're coming. And it's not contingent on you healing. It's not contingent on you being a different person. It's just contingent on you being open and not being afraid to be vulnerable with people. Obviously, like when we first meet someone, we maybe don't want to be like, hey, here's everything I'm going through, but you might be surprised. Someone might be open to that. But I think like vulnerability and authenticity is actually really important during this time. And you might even find that like the person or people coming in bring some structure and order to your life, or those people are bringing structure and order to your life. And I feel like you're being asked to receive that unapologetically and not feel guilty for it, because I feel like these people are happy to provide that. Especially with the perception card here, I definitely feel like you are looking at a picture half painted and feeling like this is the final thing, or like there is something wrong, and there isn't. I really feel called to say like everything is going to be okay, and you're going to move through this cycle. The fact that we have the gateway here, I definitely feel like you're stepping into a new era. And I feel like what's happening right now is there is a lot falling away, but I feel like it's extra overwhelming because you don't necessarily know what you're stepping into. And I feel like for a lot of you, what you're stepping into is different for sure. But also I feel like you're purposefully being obstructed from what you're stepping into, because like right now it's really meant to be focused on what it's time to release, what you don't need anymore. And I feel like especially if your energy levels are quite low, like you're definitely being encouraged to kind of take things slowly, chill, and kind of just let nature take its course and kind of just be with yourself as you move through this process. You don't have to know everything that's going on right now. You don't have to have all of the answers, and that might be really stressful for you, especially if you had authority figures in your life that made you feel like if you don't have all the answers, you're doing something wrong. If you don't know exactly what you're doing, then you're doing something wrong. And I feel like with this Eight of Swords here, you may feel trapped, but I promise that's just a perception. I definitely think the more that you can spend time with people that you feel safe with, that make you feel good, that kind of help you take your mind off things, I feel like that will be a really helpful way to kind of get out of rumination. But I definitely think as well, the the relationships that you already have that are really meaningful to you, or the meaningful relationships that are coming in, and I feel really called to say these are relationships that you don't have to seek. You could open yourself up to it in ways like I just heard, like Bumblebee BFF, like you might find some people through there, but I feel like you don't necessarily have to seek these things. I feel like they can and will come to you. And now I'm just hearing the like I Just Haven't Met You Yet song by Michael Bublé. So Bublé, that's a fun word. That's a fun name to say. I definitely think that like those people are coming, and they might come in the most serendipitous ways that you never anticipated. Or it might just be as simple as, hey, I want you to meet my friend so-and-so. I feel like you guys might get along. But definitely, I feel like there is one thing that this cycle is calling to your attention. If you do have the energy to reflect or have the energy to do inner work, emphasis on if you have the energy, I definitely think that there is an opportunity during this cycle to really look at what beliefs were thrust upon you as a young person that you have taken on that have continued to make, you know, the harder times more challenging for you, and that have made it hard for you to just connect more deeply. I feel extra called to say, though, that inner work during this time is really not necessary. I feel like the most important thing during this time is honestly just caring for yourself, making sure, you know, you're getting enough to eat, you're getting enough water, that you're sleeping enough, like really just going back to basics. Like I think focusing on your physical well-being, your mental well-being, if you have the capacity. But even if you are really just kind of a bit detached from yourself during this time, obviously I don't recommend that for long periods of time, but even if you're just kind of half here, that's okay. I feel like there could be a process that you're kind of going through where you're shedding like really heavy energy in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, and it kind of seems like a lot of this is happening on its own. Like they're processes you don't really have to be consciously aware of or be in control of, but they can be quite overwhelming because you'll still experience the symptoms of them. Like for example, if you're discarding a lot of pent-up energy, you might get randomly emotional for no reason and have no idea why. Definitely take that as a sign that things are moving and that you're releasing things. Like I always say that crying is like an orgasm for the soul. Like sometimes like I just cry and I don't know why. I saw a video of an otter that like his buddy got stuck in a net, and this guy like saved, you know, basically understood what the otter was asking for, like saved the otter from the net, and they were like so happy to be brought back together. And then the otter, okay, I'm gonna try not to cry, but I'm already tearing up. And then the otter comes back and brings the guy a present as like being grateful, and literally just talking about it, like I'm tearing up. Like I'm not gonna cry, but like I want to. Like when I saw it the first time, I ugly cried. Like I sobbed. Like you would have thought that like somebody stabbed me in the stomach, but like, no, I was just like moved by this sweet little otter video. So like you might find that you're especially sensitive, or you might find that just the most random things like set you off, whether they're heartwarming or heartbreaking, or just you would normally be neutral to them, but for whatever reason they are especially impactful at this time. Just flow with it, because it's definitely just allowing you to release what you don't need anymore. That does seem to be a theme. Even though all the readings have been quite different so far, I think that we're all kind of in this period of release, especially if you're watching this when I upload it. After that, it seems like no matter what, you are in a period of release. But it definitely seems like you're in that kind of awkward threshold where it's like, I know that things are ending, but I don't know that things are beginning, and I don't know what's happening, and it feels like everything is going to shit, and it's like I've got these wonderful things, but like what if those things go to shit too? And I'm scared and afraid, and I'm trying to pretend like everything is okay, but it does not feel okay, and I don't want to be a burden on anyone, but I would not be shocked if you feel like you are in a moving vehicle that you can't control and you don't know where it's going. But I promise you it's going to someplace better. And I feel like even if not much is actually meant to change, I feel like no matter what is happening, like you could find you even come full circle in a lot of ways and you come back to like square one, but it's like you have this fresh perspective and you have like a new lease on life. And I feel like this cycle is also giving you tools and opportunities to find tools to support yourself in the future when you do go through bouts of challenge. And like I feel like for some of you, you may even feel like you don't have any reason to feel this way. Like you might feel like, I don't know why I feel like everything's falling apart, like everything is technically fine, but maybe it's just that there's a lot falling apart within you that you know, you used to identify as self energy, that you're now realizing, oh, this isn't me, or you're no longer being able to hold on to it. And it does kind of feel like things are falling apart, because they are, but it's not in a bad way, it's in a wonderful way. I definitely think as well, this Queen of Pentacles in reverse energy really makes me feel like there could be maybe someone even presently in your life, like maybe, for example, your partner's parents or something, that are making you worried like you're not good enough. And I feel like that's not the case either. And I feel also called to say that, like, if you have a partner or something like that, they are not going to be swayed by the opinions of their caregivers. They care about you, and no opinion is going to change that. I definitely think one thing you should know, though, is that while this may not be the best or your ideal like space to be in, there is ample opportunity to see spiritual magic at work, like see synchronicities or just have things serendipitously come together in ways that you didn't anticipate. And that's why I do say, like, if you do have the energy and you do want to manifest, or you do want to like plant the seeds to start creating something, you might find that happens a lot more quickly. But if you're in a place where you're like, I have no idea what I even want or where I want to go or what's going on, just focus on caring for yourself. It is absolutely fine. Don't buy into the pressure that you're doing something wrong by not actively creating something. I definitely think that more than anything, though, you don't have to let your current state and the fear that may surround it stop you from taking those small wins of doing things that you enjoy, and also spending time with people that make you feel loved and cared for, that help take your mind off things. I definitely think that one cool thing that I think is going to happen through this time period is you're going to come out having a better idea of just, number one, like the good people that you have in your life or that are soon coming in. And number two, you'll have awareness of the lack of self-worth and the lack of compassion that was thrust upon you when you're younger. You'll be seeing that much more clearly and recognizing it never had anything to do with you, and it was very much, you know, just the knowledge that your caregivers had being passed down and projected onto you. Doesn't excuse or make okay what happened, but I feel like you're definitely going to be identifying much less with those energies and experiences, and realizing like, okay, even when I'm not okay, that's okay. And it's okay to not know where I'm going. It's okay to not have a plan. It's okay to be a mess, and it's okay to just flow with that. Like, life is not meant to be perfect. You're not meant to be perfect. And the idea that you're somehow failing should you be in a place where you feel like things are falling apart and things are chaotic, like, that's when a lot of magic happens. And that's when you have the opportunity to do things differently. And that's when life gets really interesting. As creatures that like certainty and like to know what's happening, that's not always the most fun thing, but it can be really fun once those magical things come to you. And I think that in a lot of ways they are. Dandelions could be significant in some way. Or if you wish on dandelions, I feel like that could be maybe kind of a cathartic little ritual to do if you find yourself in nature. But one of the best things you could really do for yourself right now is, if you have the energy, pay attention to any narratives that might be running in your head where, you know, if you're having an especially hard time, or you're getting really, really stuck in a cycle of thought, like everything is imploding, like everything is going to shit, like I'm a failure, so-and-so is disappointed in me, like I'm a waste of space, like all of those things, you need to be like, these are not true. these are lies that were fed to me by wounded people. And also just kind of recognize that and counteract it with, I'm allowed to be messy. I'm allowed to be vulnerable. I'm allowed to ask for help. I'm allowed to be helped. Like, my worth is not tied to how I show up each day. Like, my worth is not tied to how together I am. I definitely feel like whatever cycle you're going through, it's gonna be one that's very informative in the future, where if you find yourself in this place again, you're gonna have a better idea of, I know what this is. I'm definitely due for some sort of shift, some sort of rebirth, but I may not know what that is, but that's okay, because I've got these tools, and I'm gonna pay attention to what's not working, what I can let go of, and what the universe might want to highlight to me as belief systems, attitudes, or my relationship to the material world, my relationship to myself, that is not helpful anymore and just not for me. I definitely think like this cycle doesn't have to be as scary and as overwhelming if you give yourself more opportunities to share with the people that you love and care about, share with people that you trust and that make you feel safe. If you give yourself opportunities to kind of take a break from worrying about this and feeling like you need to be in control, because you don't. This is a very like natural thing. Like, I think about, you know, if you fall and scrape your knee, like, you don't have to think and tell your knee what to do. Like, it knows what to do. Your body knows how to heal. And like, that's especially why sleep is already really important for you. So if you're putting that off or like really struggling to sleep, that is what I would say should be your main priority, because sleep is a healing process, and we can have a lot of healing in sleep. And if you want to, this is something that I like to do. I ask for the highest levels of healing from the most skilled healers that love me unconditionally. And I just ask, like, specifically, I usually ask for like healing of my energy body, healing of my physical body, healing of my mind, healing of the connection between those things. And I might ask for specific things, like if I'm really struggling with self-esteem, I might ask for like healing of my solar plexus. Or if I'm really struggling with compassion fatigue, I might ask for healing of my heart. You know, whatever you want, because there are definitely, at least I believe that there are very powerful beings that are just waiting for us to ask for more help, and can definitely get to work while we're sleeping. You can even ask for healing dreams, and give permission to beings of unconditional love to work with you in your dreams if you would like. But I definitely think that this is a natural cycle that you're going through, and not something that you need to be so consciously aware of. But the conscious awareness that you do have, I do feel like you will take value from it. But if really all you have the energy for is to just show up every day and do what you can, that's enough. And I feel like you need to know that that's enough, and you don't have to be so hard on yourself. And I would even say as well, be careful of what you're consuming, especially if you're finding a lot of like content about like productivity content that's like showing routines where people get a lot done. I feel like that could definitely make you feel, you might be looking at it for inspiration and motivation, but you might find that like you find yourself getting just frustrated, like, why can't I do that stuff? It's because you're tired and you need rest, and you just need time to process. And you know, we barely give people space to rest physically. I'm not shocked that, you know, we as a society haven't really given space to people going through intense emotional, spiritual processes, and that's definitely something you're going through. And so I feel like, you know, nobody else is really going to give you that permission right now to do what's best for you, besides those that you care about and open up with. But I care about you, and I want you to know that you don't need anyone else's permission but your own to just do the bare minimum if that's all that you can, and take much more time to just sleep and rest and care for your mind, care for your body, care for your energy, because that's, I think, the most supportive process that you could give to yourself right now, and that could make this cycle easiest. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get some guidance from really any unconditionally loving source that you believe in. You can ask it from a specific deity, or you can ask for it from just the universe, I'm just gonna say spirit, so any unconditional loving source energy, but you can ask, like I said, for anything specific. Oh, also, this is an excellent opportunity. If you find your value to be in providing and giving to others, this is a very valuable opportunity for you to realize that when those relationships are lopsided, you will be depleted, and also kind of see who in your life is willing to be reciprocal in that process. I definitely feel like giving is a lot less powerful if you're uncomfortable with receiving. So this could be an awesome opportunity for you to receive the same generosity that you so freely give. But Spirit, what would you like pile 3 to know right now in terms of guidance? What does pile 3 really need to hear at this time? What? You may be experiencing astral projection or out-of-body sensations. There may be a special message or timeline that you are gathering information or lessons about during these sessions. Journal your experiences upon waking. Yeah, so you could be really having very powerful experiences right now. And maybe some of your exhaustion is the fact that you could be doing a lot of work in your sleep. So that might be something to, pay attention to. And you might find that there's really valuable information in your dreams. I have very long, detailed dreams. I can't say I find value in sitting in a classroom and Elon Musk walking in and grabbing my right boob. That is a dream that I had recently. Scared me awake, and I had to take a shower. I also dreamt last night that I was on a Zoom call with Satan, and I was like, I don't believe you. You're not really him. Like, it was very weird. And it started to get kind of scary because then he, started proving it, and he was, proving it by, he would, disappear. And then I would get a picture to my phone where he would be standing behind me in a really creepy way. And I'd be and I was I don't think AI knows how to do that yet. That's kind of interesting. And I also woke up being why was I held a Zoom call with Lucifer? What's up with that? I don't know. Very weird. Sometimes dreams are just weird and you don't have to find meaning in them. But I hope you're not having dreams like that. I recommend having better ones. But anyway, tangent aside, Spirit, what other guidance do you have? The universe always has a way of guiding you and reflecting back what you need to see or hear. Notice the signs, synchronicities, and subtle communication that is trying to send you a message. Listen closely. So yeah, I definitely think that in this process of slowing down and just kind of patience and gentleness, there could be a lot of opportunities for reflection and awareness of things, especially processes that have been happening within you that you haven't even realized. For example, if you were taught that your value is rooted in your productivity, and if you're working yourself to the brink of unhealthiness or to the brink of just exhaustion or burnout, you could have the opportunity to see oh, I don't truly need to be this productive. I was taught this, and this is just running in my psyche subconsciously. This is something that I can start releasing, and maybe through repetition be my value is not in my productivity. And even if it's literally painful to rest, that's all the more reason why you should. Sometimes progress isn't about taking a step forward. Sometimes it's about staying where you are and seeing what the present environment has to share with you. What else, Spirit? Your head may be in the clouds right now and perhaps stuck in fantasy or illusion. Find balance between the 5D and the 3D and ensure that you are integrating the two equally. Come down to earth. Yeah, so maybe you're really avoidant right now of the chaos happening in the world around you, and so that's really exacerbating the scary thoughts or the overwhelming thoughts. Even all the cards so far in the sky. So I really feel like grounding could be helpful for you because, and you can Google grounding techniques, there are tons of ways to ground, but you may find that your physical environment is getting more overwhelming because you're not addressing it, but it's hard to be in your physical environment because that's where you feel the least safe. And so I feel like there is opportunity for you to start healing your relationship with your physical environment and realize that you don't have to conjure an environment similar to the one that you were raised in. You can create an environment that's more helpful for you. And I definitely feel for example, if you're not cleaning as much or if you're not really focused on chores, that's okay. You are not a terrible person for letting your laundry gather. You are not a terrible person for letting the dishes pile up. You are human as fuck for that. And like, that is just something where you deserve grace. And if you have the means to do so, it might be helpful to hire a company to come and clean for you. It might really exacerbate those feelings of shame, but I promise you it's going to feel a lot better to have, you know, your environment be more in order and you not have to be entirely responsible for it, or ask someone to help you. You know, I know of a lot of people who may not like to clean their own spaces but love cleaning other people's spaces. So you never know. Some people enjoy that. Not me, but some people. What else? Spirit, what else would you like pile 3 to know? Bring some color and variety to your life right now. Work with color therapy. Spice up your routine or pick up a paintbrush and canvas. Replace the gray areas with bright hues. You're in need of a liveliness boost. There really is some value to color therapy, especially because if you are someone who wears a lot of black and you find yourself ruminating a lot or really getting stuck in your head or just having a hard time getting out of anxious energy, try wearing different colors. I used to wear a lot of black all the time, and like one thing I learned is that you can kind of get addicted to like wearing the same color, and that in fact wearing different colors can be really helpful. So if you want to feel more grounded, I'm actually wearing brown right now because I was like, I need to feel more grounded today. Wearing like earth tones like brown and green can be really helpful. If you want more energy, try wearing reds or yellows. If you want to feel cool and calm, you might want to try wearing blues. If you want to feel more intuitive, try purples. If you want to feel more creative and passionate, try orange, like red. But really, I think especially a color you might want to avoid during this time is gray, especially if you're already feeling pretty meh. Gray might just kind of make that worse. I feel like gray is a great color for when you're bouncing off the walls and just bursting with emotion or energy. I feel like gray can kind of help balance that out a little bit. But definitely if you're already feeling kind of down or overwhelmed or just kind of stuck, I feel like gray can kind of just make that worse. So definitely add some liveliness to your life. But on the back of the deck, we have get in touch with your masculine side, the side of you that is logical, powerfully driven, and structured. This will help you feel more balanced. So this makes this Emperor card make more sense. I definitely feel like in terms of finding solutions to problems that you may have been avoiding solving, for example, the getting your house clean thing, you might be avoiding that, unless you literally can't do that because of financial means, you might be avoiding that simply because you feel shame for the state of your place. But I promise you, people that clean for a living, first of all, if they are judging you, it's none of your business, and they're still gonna do their job and you'll likely never know about it. But also they're probably not, I guarantee you, I kind of see it like a doctor. Usually they've always seen worse, and it's just normal to them. They're there to clean up mess. So if mess is there, you've given them a job to do. And the masculine side of you is not going to stop the good thing, the necessary thing from happening because you feel guilty or shame about it. That's exactly why you need to do it, because it's going to help relieve those feelings. I definitely feel like when it comes to knowing that there's solutions out there, asking for help, Aragorn is masculine as hell. And what does he do? He relies on the people that he cares about. He relies on his boys. He relies on the people around him. And he is vulnerable and open with his emotions. And he is the pinnacle of masculinity. When in doubt, be like Aragorn. Okay. Maybe just watch Lord of the Rings. That's a great one because they're very long. And so you give yourself plenty of opportunity to rest and get sucked into something for a little while. But definitely, if there are solutions that you've thought of that you just haven't acted on because you feel guilty or ashamed, there's definitely an opportunity for you to let go of that and realize no amount of shame is going to fix the problem. And it's going to feel a lot better to just kind of get it over with, right? But we're going to go ahead and finish off with a message from the Sacred Rebels Oracle. And I'm going to shuffle off camera because there are beautiful depictions of the human body that our corporate overlords wouldn't approve of. despite that they probably do much freakier stuff behind closed doors, but that's none of my business. Okay, pile 3, Spirit. What guidance would you like to leave pile 3 with? What do they need to know at this time for their highest good? Okay, we have listening for truth. And like there is nudity, but it's like not that bad. But we're just gonna put the France crystal on it and just leave it at that. So we have listening for truth, and I'm gonna move this over to the side. Number 36. Truth speaks to us constantly, but not always in words. It may communicate through a feeling that is hard to put into words, but brings an inexplicable sense of peace, trust, and the knowledge that somehow everything is going to work out perfectly, even if there is little evidence of how it is all going to happen. You are being asked to listen for the truths beneath the words rather than the superficial messages of the words themselves. This is especially true for the communications of those around you, the press, the newspapers, and the mass media. You will begin to hear fear in the words and actions of those around you, even if they preach love. Listen deeper, listen for truth, especially when it comes to those narratives we were talking about, like with people that you were raised by. Like, you know, if you were taught that you had to be perfect, that's probably because your caregivers felt like they weren't good enough and they were probably shamed by their caregivers, and that doesn't make what they did okay, but at least it gives you context and awareness to see the truth and know that that's not something that you have to hold on to. This oracle comes with a message of truth for you. You are hearing something that is not being said, and what you are hearing is truthful. You may feel as though you are the only one that is really ready to hear or see it. Perhaps you've been working in a situation or loving in a relationship where truth is consistently denied. We live in a world where truth is frequently avoided out of fear of what it might reveal. At the basis of such actions, consciously or not, is a deep sense of unhealed toxic shame. If you or someone else is fearful that truth will expose rather than free or heal, then some personal healing is required. It is time for letting go of old wounds in favor of a greater sense of love and acceptance. You are being asked to love yourself enough to honor the truth, even if you feel like you're the only one doing so. Sacred rebels need truth like lungs need oxygen. Truth keeps the energy of life flowing through the rebellious heart. And so for some of you, you may just need to come to the truth that like you're having a hard time right now and you can use support, and that's okay. Truth keeps the energy of life flowing through the rebellious heart. Lies dampen the spirit of the sacred rebel. Even if those with less awakened hearts fear the truth, you must not turn away from it. Don't resent this state of affairs. Perhaps your job is to show that truth can be witnessed even when many may want to hide from it. What others do is always their choice, but through your honorable deeds done with integrity, you will be set free no matter what the outcome. You are a truth seeker. Never deny or try to quiet this down to make others comfortable. You are meant to be an agitator at times, even though you don't have to confront people to do it. You don't necessarily have to say a word, though. Sometimes you will. Often you will agitate in the most loving sense by unveiling truth simply through your knowings. Hold compassion for the truths you hold. Do not use them as knives to cut another or yourself with harshness, but as clear insight that allows one to loosen knots that bind, simply by knowing which thread to gently tug. This oracle brings you guidance. If you've been worn down and depressed by the lies, gossip, deceit, or backstabbing going on around you, don't fret. Get out in nature and spend some time communing with the infinite. Healing will come to you now. No matter how many times or in how many ways or in how many tongues untruth is spoken, you know what you know in your sacred rebellious heart. The truth is your connection to the living truth of life itself. Don't give up. Just open up to the healing and know that the truth always eventually prevails. And there is a healing process that you can do if you are interested. But I really think in general, like truth right now is very important to you, and honoring that truth and recognizing that there's power in that and that there isn't shame in that. And I feel like speaking truth to those that, you know, care about you and that you care about, I think is especially powerful. And I feel like especially, you know, in what we were talking about with people that will be coming into your life or that are already in your life that, you know, you're uncomfortable receiving from, that want to support you, like you can see the truth in like not only the necessity in you receiving from others, but in the fact that like there are good people out there that, you know, do see you and that will have reciprocal relationships with you and that want that with you, and kind of help you see that the idea that you had to be a certain way or deny yourself or hold yourself back was not the truth, but in fact, you know, just a wounded projection of someone else's truth that is not yours. So pile 3, I'm rooting for you. You've got this. Everything will be okay. Don't forget to be kind to yourself. But that is where I'm leaving this reading. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, because that is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel. So thank you to everyone who does that. If you would like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch. You can check out my social media. You can check out my candles. We just added mini candles. Be sure to check those out and use code ASO10 for 10% off. You can check out my other videos, social media. I think I said that, but that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope this reading helped. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi there, pile 4. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Labradorite Tiger and the Pink Tiger Tarot, this is going to be your reading on what you need to know right now. So if what I am describing, you are like, yes, I need to know that, then congratulations, you found your reading. If what I am talking about, you're like, no, I don't need to know that, then you have full permission to choose a different pile or do whatever else you want with your free will. But I highly recommend doing things like coming and hanging out with me. But with that being said, if you want to just go ahead and focus your intentions on the deck and just ask that the messages meant for you come through, feel free to do that. I am using reversals for this reading, so I do want to remind you guys that reversals are not bad. They are just communicating information to me. They are not negative, and if reversals come out in this reading, that is okay. Let's just give this one more good shuffle. Okay. So pile 4, Spirit, what does pile 4 need to know most at this time? What does pile 4 need to hear? Okay, we have the High Priestess in reverse. What does pile 4 need to hear? Okay, we have Strength in reverse. We have the Fool. Is there anything naked? No. We have the Fool in reverse. Tell me that dog doesn't have a nut sack. I mean, it does, but I don't think the censorship's gonna be able to tell. What else, Spirit? We have the Advocate upright. Okay, so that is the Hierophant in this deck. And on the back of the deck, we have the 9 of Swords in reverse. And then for your oracles, we have Cleaning. We have Purification. We have Time to Go. We have the Faith. And Fiddle Leaf Fig in reverse. So I feel like for some of you, you already know what I'm going to tell you, but I definitely think it's very necessary for you to hear it. So please don't leave me prematurely. But if you do, I love you. I hope you have a great day. Mwah. But you have been ignoring your intuition majorly. You know that you are overdue, ready for a change, and it's actually really interesting. I want you to know, if you're drawn to any of the other groups, there could be more messages for you there. There seems to be an overall theme right now of just change, endings, rebirth, even though the readings themselves and what I've said has been kind of different. The core themes seem to be the same, and the first thing you need to know is that you are not alone in this process and that everything is going to be okay. But I definitely feel like for this group, there may be some extra shame in feeling like you should already know what to do. You should already have learned certain things. Like, it almost seems like you're back to a place that you once were, that it seems like you evolved out of, or just like healed from, grew from. And now it's like you're back in that same position and feeling like it's your fault, instead of realizing that, number one, this is just not like natural in the cycles of life. Like, there is birth, rebirth, and for the rebirth to happen, we have to have death. But it just seems like maybe you weren't anticipating this happening, and feeling like somehow because you're at a place where things need to change that you failed. And you haven't. You're not a failure in the slightest. And so please let go of that idea. You are such a winner, and you have a powerfully strong intuition that has probably been kind of painful to ignore. It definitely seems like there's something about this current cycle that you're in, like something that you're ready to let go of that you've been quite attached to. And it kind of seems like you haven't wanted to admit that to yourself. And you've been feeling like through this avoidance, you might be feeling extra shame or like insecurity because you may be aware or just self-aware of the fact that you're avoiding this, and self-aware of the fact that, you know, you can handle it and you will be okay. But, you know, there's a part of you that just doesn't want to let go. There's a part of you that is afraid, and there's a part of you that just doesn't want to admit that to yourself, and that's okay. But I do feel like, you know, the truth kind of is revealed whether we want it to or not. And fortunately and unfortunately, you're a very intuitive being. You're very tuned into your own cycles, the cycles of the universe, and how those tie together. And it definitely seems like you've almost been intentionally blocking any wisdom, any guidance from coming through, because you may just not want to face the reality that things are changing, and change is scary, which is such a mood. And I feel that, and I'm like, I get it, buddy. Like, I'm right there with you. Change is scary as hell. But this change definitely seems to be necessary, and one that's a little bit overdue. But one thing that I'm seeing here that you may not recognize yet is the fact that you have more power in creation for how this ending happens, or how these changes occur. And also, whatever you're wanting to step into, you definitely have the tools and the power to create. You may not, that is jumping the gun a little bit, but I think about it this way. Like, I'll just use the example of, like, imagine you want to remodel your house. That means you have to let go of the decor and maybe declutter, and maybe let go of the wallpaper that you were really attached to but you know is outdated, and you're ready for something new. So in order to motivate yourself to do that, you kind of make plans for what you want to do in terms of renovations and how you want to change things, in order to give you that excitement and motivation to get things cleared out and, you know, do the hard work first. So using that example, it kind of seems like one thing that may be really valuable is thinking about the value of whatever you're letting go of, whatever you're leaving. What are you able to step towards as a result? What have you been wanting to bring towards you that you feel like you haven't had room for? I definitely feel like there is an energy here where you're wanting to, I feel like your ego is attached to whatever this current cycle is, and making you believe that if you somehow step away from it, or that you somehow choose to do things differently, you're failing or you're doing something wrong. And it's just not true. I feel like if anything, you're just really needing a fresh sheet of paper, a clean slate, and that is a process that's happening. One thing that I think could be very beneficial for you right now is just decluttering and cleaning your space. Even though that may not be the most fun thing, that was actually something I was recommending in pile 3, so you may want to check out pile 3 specifically. But it just could be really hard to see a way forward when you feel overwhelmed by your space or by the chaos and mess around you. I really want to read this Fiddly Fig card because I feel like it's kind of funny. But it says, nothing, and I mean nothing, is as futile as a fiddly fig. Give it up. Regardless of your boho woven planter basket, your fiddly fig will die a slow and painful death, leaf by leaf, until you're left with nothing but a crispy stub and an $89 hole in your pocket. Despite your best intentions, strict watering, schedule, fertilizer, dutiful misting, and perfectly positioned grow lights, it's not happening. Let it go. Be free of the fig. Find a lower maintenance or plastic plant to satiate your black thumb. So, like, I definitely feel like you may be doing more work than necessary and just like being hard on yourself. And I feel like what you need to know is that it's time for this change that you've been feeling. And if you're like, I'm not ready for change, I'm happy with where I'm at, I'm good, then I don't really think this is the message for you, my dude. Because definitely for a lot of you, it seems like if it's not apparent already, it will become apparent very soon what you're ready to step away from, what doesn't need to stick around, and what is being cleared away to make room for the new. I can definitely see here with the Hierophant being here, you are really being encouraged to utilize your intuitive abilities and kind of whatever your spiritual process is, embrace that. So like if, for example, if you read cards, if you do runes, if you divine with candles or coffee grinds, or if you have someone that you go to, definitely reach out to them or definitely take advantage of that. At least when you're in a space where you're a little bit more clear and you're ready for answers, maybe you kind of need to get out some nervous energy before you do that. But I definitely think that the longer you linger in this like stagnancy and linger in this knowing that something needs to change, knowing that something's got to give, knowing that it's time to move forward, but holding on to it anyway, the more like overwhelmed you're going to feel, the more panicky you're going to feel, the more bogged down you're going to feel, and the more just like trapped you might end up feeling, and the scarier it will be for you to step forward. Like I definitely feel this energy of like just being like, the longer you feel stuck, the harder it's going to feel to move forward, because you're gonna get like, shit is warm, you know? Sometimes we feel comfortable in it. And I feel like you've had a hard time trusting in where this is leading you, because I feel like you were happy being led to where you're at in the first place. And the fact that that's changed, you've grown, and things are different. It's like this acknowledgement of like, okay, this cycle has had its time, but now I'm being led to somewhere else. But I liked this place. I liked where it was. But the universe is like, yes, but you will love where you end up. You will love where you're headed. But in order to get there, we gotta do some tweaking. We gotta be willing to let go. We gotta be willing to wash away and begin anew. I definitely feel like it's far more effective to just grab a new sheet of paper than it is to take a piece of paper that's been drawn all over and smother it in white out. You know what I mean? I definitely think there is value to a fresh cycle that you may not be seeing because you are attached to what you're letting go of. But I feel like there's really just a big message here of, you know, it's time. And if you don't know what to do or how to do it, either seek out sources that can be supportive and give you answers if you feel ill-equipped to do that for yourself, or just listen to yourself. Use any divinatory processes or any self-exploration tools that you have in order to kind of give yourself an idea of like your game plan, what you think will work best, and just get moving. But also, you know, if moving is at a snail's pace, that's fine. Like, that's still moving. I definitely think as well, like, I think one of the most manageable things you can start by doing is just focusing on your immediate environment and making it more orderly and just cleaning it. I feel like that will give you a sense of agency and also help your mind be clearer and just feel like more calm. I definitely think as well, you're really being encouraged not to hold back on this, because you're just prolonging the opportunity to step into something even more aligned for you. And I definitely feel like because you're kind of avoiding these truths, you're also like stepping away from your intuitive body. And you're a very intuitive person. Your intuitive body is important to you. It's important to your functioning as a human being. It's important to you maintaining your faith. It's important to you to feel kind of, you know, trusting in the path that you're on. And so I feel like there is this unintended consequence of avoiding your intuition, where you're also avoiding a part of yourself that is very necessary for you to feel like yourself, to feel like you can breathe, to feel, you know, connected to something greater than yourself. And so I feel like the universe is really encouraging you not to avoid the truths that have been coming to you, because they're already coming to you. You already know they're there. You know, you can't wish them away. You can't avoid them. They're only going to get louder and be, you know, stronger the more you avoid them. And also, in facing them, not only will you likely get immediate relief, but you'll also reconnect to a part of yourself that I feel like you haven't even realized you've missed, because you've been overwhelmed by these truths that you've wanted to avoid, and just kind of realize, oh, it was always going to be okay. Oh, it's definitely not as bad as I thought it was in my head. And oh, actually, I really needed this change more than I realized. This change was long overdue. And I definitely feel like there's a big sigh of relief when you finally face this thing. You know, a lot of times it's not the thing itself that's scary, it's our fear of facing the thing. And then once we do it, we realize like the process of fearing it was much worse than facing it itself. I definitely feel like what you need to know is that the relief you're looking for is in facing your truth and in facing reality, and stepping towards what that reality is telling you, and trusting in it, and not avoiding it anymore, because that avoidance is just going to make it more overwhelming and make it feel more challenging and create more unnecessary energy around a process that is actually, while maybe challenging, is meant to be cathartic and meant to be, you know, an opportunity for you to realize that, like, no matter how attached you get to a cycle, there's always something more aligned with you. There's always something different. There's always something better. There's always something, you know, new. And sometimes, you know, we forget that we forget how cool a new thing can be. You know, I think about the fact that I remember when skinny jeans became trendy, and I was really upset about it because I was a flared jean girly. You know, I loved me some flared jeans, you know, with some Converse. Like that was my look. And when skinny jeans came around, it took me a minute. It took me a minute to embrace them, but I did, and I embraced it, except for the ankle trend, because my ankles get cold. I don't want to expose my ankles. Like, I don't want that. I want them clothed. But anyway, finally, when I just fully accepted skinny jeans, and that's when flared jeans came back around. And I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. Like, it took me all this time to embrace it and truly accept it, and now that I have, I'm attached to these damn skinny jeans I didn't want in the first place, and now flared jeans are coming back in. And not just flared jeans, but big old baggy jeans that look like you could hide someone in them. Those ones are not for me. I'm more of you know how there's like that thing where it's like you're either a big pants, like small top girly, or an oversized top, small pants, skinny pants girly. I'm an oversized top, skinny pants girly, but I do love me some flared jeans. And I am excited that they're back. But it's taken me a minute, because it was like, man, it took me all this time to just appreciate skinny jeans, and now you're doing this to me. Like, life is so hard. Like, truly no one has ever suffered more than me. Obviously, that's a joke. Don't get your panties in a twist. I think some of y'all just want to. Well, not y'all. Y'all are the real ones. The ones getting their panties in a twist probably left 20 minutes ago. But anyway, that silly example aside, I definitely feel like whatever is coming back in, whatever you're meant to move towards, you will be happy with it, and you will be like, this is actually what I've been wanting anyway. And maybe you were afraid to ask for it. Maybe you were afraid to acknowledge that, because you felt like in doing that, you weren't being grateful for what you had. And, you know, it probably took a lot of work to embrace the cycle that you're currently in. And so it just seemed like, you know, too much. But I feel like there's definitely a cycle of timing that the universe is on for you, that you're being asked to kind of tune into and accept and embrace, because it's just going to make the process easier. But considering this message is pretty straightforward, like, I feel like the biggest thing you need to know is that if you want more information, if you want more guidance, definitely use the tools that you already feel comfortable using. And if you're not comfortable using those things individually, I would definitely try to seek out sources like counseling, or you know, readers, whatever sort of guidance you feel would be best suited for what you need right now. definitely seek that out if you feel incapable of doing that yourself. And maybe you even want to do both. Maybe do some for yourself and then kind of ask someone or find someone to help you, and then see how those things compare and just see, you know, what resonates for you. But more than anything, everything's going to be okay. And yeah, it really sucks that you're so intuitively gifted and so tuned into the cycles of the universe, because you really can't avoid the truth, you know? A lot of people can lie to themselves and live a lie for a lot longer, but you have the hard gift of seeing the truth, even maybe before it appears, and knowing that it's coming. And even once it's here, you're like, oh, I really didn't want to see that. But unfortunately, you are far too capable and far too blessed to be left in a place that no longer serves you. So it's time to go. It's time to go towards what is truly meant for you now. Because, you know, what is meant for us in the past isn't always what's meant for us now. And move towards this new beginning that is meant for you. And whether it's as small as just changing up a lifestyle, well, that can actually be really big. It can be as small as changing an attitude. It can be as small as changing, well, I feel like any change is big, so I guess I don't want to call it small. But whatever changes you're being called to make, whatever you're being called to let go of, I promise you it's actually going to be a relief, and you're going to find that you have more space and more room to create things that you didn't even realize that you wanted, because these things were taking up so much space originally. So if you want to, I would definitely say if you were drawn to any of the other groups, definitely check those out, because I feel like that will give you the insight that maybe this reading didn't. I do feel like there are kind of repeating themes here, and this one definitely seems to be the most straightforward out of all of them. So definitely, if you feel unsatisfied so far with like if you feel like there's definitely more for you, they're probably in one of the previous groups. But we're gonna go ahead and get some guidance for you now through channeled messages. Feel free to pick a source as long as it's unconditionally loving. I'm just going to use spirit, but you can use a specific guide, ancestor, really anything. But spirit, what guidance do you have for pile 4 at this time? What do they need to hear for their highest good? Silence is the best answer at this time. If someone is waiting for a response, or you're trying to decide on communication or movement, let things be for now. Sit in silence. So maybe for some of you, if you're not ready to make these decisions, yeah, take a second, sit in silence. But I definitely feel like that silence is going to force you to listen to your own intuition, which is probably what you've been avoiding. So that's all the more reason why you should do it. You're such an intuitive baddie. Oh no, don't be so intuitive and pick up on what's happening. You're so cute when you avoid things. Well, you're even cuter when you don't avoid things. What else? Dare to adventure outside of your comfort zone. This is a time of expansion, new opportunities, and doing things you've always held back on. There is no more time to waste. Get out there and explore. So yeah, this is funny. So I definitely think that like whichever guidance piece you resonated with more, take that. But if you resonated with the silence more, embrace that guidance and then step into this new, because like it's definitely time to get out of your comfort zone and begin new things. The cycle that you're in has no more expansion for you here. There's new things to be explored, new things to be experienced, and the new always seems scary before we've experienced it, right? Showing your vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. Be expressive with your emotions and don't be afraid to say how you feel. If someone can't return the same to you, that's a reflection of their own fear. So yeah, definitely, like, seriously, part of you may need to be vulnerable with yourself and just maybe acknowledge how scared you are to change, or how much you don't want this change to happen, and accept that. Like, that's okay. You're allowed to not want that. You're allowed to be attached to, like, certainty and what has been, but you know, it's not serving you anymore. So I feel like just by being honest, that could even be helpful. But also, you know, by detaching from your emotional body, that's, especially if you consider yourself clairsentient, or you find that you get a lot of intuitive guidance through feelings, yeah, it's going to be really hard to tune into yourself or understand what your intuitive guidance is saying if you're detached from your emotions. But We also have, know that the worst is over for you now. You may have just endured a heavy lesson, but you have mastered it and come out a much stronger person. You are in the process of recovery and will soon be ready to look forward. So I definitely feel like if the hard thing, like if you're not in this yet, I feel like the hard thing is letting go of this thing, but it is for your highest good, and it will get better, like, and you will be looking forward to things. And maybe the challenge has been like the hard things have happened, but you still haven't been ready to let go, and you've just kind of hoped that if you stay here, things will get better, and then you're just kind of knowing that like, this is futile. I need to throw away my fiddle leaf fig and get me a new plant, or, you know, a plastic one. But the back of the deck says, dedicate a day to pamper yourself. Do all of the things that lift your vibration and make you feel beautiful. This is a great time for a makeover, physically and emotionally. So yeah, if you need permission to cut your hair, change your wardrobe, do things differently, remodel that house, do it. Buy a new house, go somewhere else, do it. Like, I definitely feel like the more newness you can bring into your life, the more you'll realize you're capable of navigating this change, and the less scary it'll feel. And I feel like you'll even find that you enjoy the newness and like find yourself like appreciating the novelty of it. But we're gonna go ahead now and finish off with a guidance card from the Sacred Rebels Oracle, and I'm gonna shuffle it off camera because there are lovely depictions of the human body that our corporate overlords wouldn't approve of, because as we all know, they're the worst. But wow, okay, we already have your guidance card coming out and a bit of a nip slip, so we are going to censor that before I lay it down. We'll just, maybe carnelian is a stone that could be beneficial for you, but we have come to life. That just makes me hear Evanescence in my head. Bring me to life. Okay. You are the most sacred of all sacred artworks. You are bringing yourself to life now, and this is how it must be. Of course, something being essential doesn't mean it will always be easy. You must support yourself and have courage during this process. Your monkey mind is not going to run the show. It might have a lot to say at times and seem very convincing, but it is not the one in charge. Your mind can inspire you with ideas. However, it is the real you that speaks through your rebellious sacred heart and is living your life, not the monkey mind. The mind is not much more than a swirling cacophony of habitual reactions. Beneath habitual thoughts, there is a deep, sensual, creative, and energetic awakening happening to you. It is far beyond what the mind is now capable of controlling. Others might not like it because it shakes things up. Coming to life tends to do that. However, it is happening now because the only real choice you have to make is how to deal with it. Coming to life means feeling. It might bring joy, but it could equally bring sadness, rage, or fear. It could bring all of these and more. Feelings will come and go quite swiftly when allowed to flow. You might need to paint, write, enact rituals, sing, or dance your feelings to help the energy flow. Don't hold back. Create the space for yourself to do it. In this process, you are uncovering the artistry of the universal creator. You are honoring the sacredness of life by exploring it without restraint, and that includes the flow of your feelings. You don't have to do anything with them other than express. You may want to analyze or you may not. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are getting in touch with feeling. Learning how to access your feelings allows you to learn how to access your intuition, creative inspiration, and genuine internal guidance. You may be like, I know that. Knowing isn't being, my dude. And that's what's important. Integrating that knowing into being. These aspects flow from the same place and are often couched within your feelings in the form of emotions as well as physical sensations. The journey underneath the mind into a sensual emotional connection with your feelings, emotions, and body is for sacred purpose. It is part of your path. You are one of the sacred but powerful minority that have chosen to come into a body and live consciously within it. That may seem like it applies to everybody, but when you experience it for yourself, you will realize this is actually rather rare. There are plenty of bodies without a spirit really residing within to care for, love, and honor them as a sacred animal. Fortunately, this minority is powerful enough that it can keep human culture in balance, but only just. We need every single one of us that is capable to be aware of the task and move beyond the mind and into the body. This is especially so if you've drawn the oracle beyond the mind, the heart beats. To come into your sensuality, you will need to anchor your experiences. You may be blessed with relationships that are conscious enough to be interested in your journey in a constructive rather than controlling or undermining way. If so, talk, converse, share. If not, then you will need to be more resourceful in how you support yourself through your awakening process, at least until you attract some more conscious connections into your life. It is likely that these connections are already on their way, just because you are working with the energy of this oracle deck. This is especially so if you've drawn other two cards or feel inspired to read one or both of those messages. If you feel inspired, you should get this deck. You can support your own process by scheduling time for yourself and keeping to it like you would the most important date with destiny. So get to writing in your journal, do your dances, paint your pictures, create your creations, be kind to your body, listen to it and let it be alive. Even in times of pain, know that there will also be ecstasy and bliss as the process of healing and awakening continues. The message of this oracle is be alive. Don't imagine you can go back to sleep. You are too awake for that now. There is no falling back into old ways. If you do so, it will be short-lived and it won't feel the same as it used to. You will grieve this. You will certainly eventually celebrate it. You've crossed the threshold from an old way of being and an old life. And try as you might, you cannot return. It is better to let it go. Grieve if needs be, celebrate if need be, or do both and move on into this moment. There is another adventure awaiting you now. You need a deeper connection to your own instincts, body, feelings, and intuition so that you can receive this new calling. You can trust it too. Embrace it and it will embrace you. So if you want to add the healing process, feel free to do that. This is definitely one that I cannot facilitate for you. So if you would like to screenshot that or take a picture of it somehow, definitely feel free to do that. You may want to pause the video. But pile number 4, that is all I have for you guys. Like I said, definitely feel free to check out another group if you are left wanting more, if you like there are still messages for you. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel, so thank you to everyone who does that. If you would like to support me in other ways, liking the video, commenting down below, subscribing if you haven't already are super helpful ways, and if you want to, you can be part of my notification squad by clicking that little notification bell. Shout out to my notification squad. You guys are the best. I usually see comments when I first upload, so if you want me to see your comments, do it when I first upload. After that, it is up to fate. Other ways, you can check out my merch. You can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. We do have mini candles, so you may want to check those out. You can check out my social media and other videos, especially ones with extendeds. But that's all I have for you guys, so thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope this reading resonated, and I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!